We're live. Look
Hey.
at that.
Hello.
There's a microphone.
Yes,
there you go.
We nailed it.
We've
Welcome
done
back.
this so many weeks.
Yeah, seriously. Man, it feels like we took a lot longer of a time off than we really did.
I mean, life.
What is that?
It's been
What
fun.
dis? What dis? What that?
We
What are those?
should probably open up with an apology.
Don't worry, I have a prepared statement.
Oh man, I was so excited. I thought you did.
Yeah,
no,
that rousing
absolutely
speech.
not.
Because I certainly do.
Oh man.
No, just kidding.
Whatever. We lambast ourselves for the last one getting super drunk, but that was probably one of the most fun sessions. That probably should never been put to streaming, but
Part of it was good.
hey, you know what? I was cool with it.
The part where we all got really upset with each other.
Yeah, that's why half our party's not here.
They got
True.
tilted in real life and decided to never come back.
That's what I'm going to tell myself as to why they're not here.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, interestingly enough, even though we will not be joined tonight by Makolo, we have been working a little bit more on fleshing out his character and his honor that he follows, as well as why he left the military. So it'll be really interesting to express that in game. But to give everybody a little bit of backstory, because that was such a point of contention for some reason, Makolo's backstory is that he was charged with in a particular war where the mountain clans were fighting against a foreign entity that the king, they'd betrayed the confidence of the king. So the king, Joran at the time, was just like, you guys no longer have my protection here. And all the mountain clans were like, well, time to go to battle. And they took all of their holdings because they were no longer under the king's jurisdiction. They no longer had the king's pact of peace. So there would be no punishment, and thus there's no war crimes.
Right.
So Joran basically turned a blind eye to everything, and it probably politically helped that it was his best friend who was coordinating it all, which is the leader of one of the mountain clans, Jareth Fellscale. So, and Jareth and Joran are best friends forever. So that probably, there was probably some political motivation as well. But he, being a member of a prominent mountain clan, joined in their army, and eventually was given a mission that he did not agree with. He did not find the honor in it. He didn't find it acceptable, and he just wasn't willing to perform it. And when he was basically his superior officer overreacted, Makolo does what he does best and also escalated the situation.
Right.
And it
Also
ended up-
jumps to conclusions.
yes, and it ended up killing the officer. So he didn't desert technically, but he did walk off of the battlefield. He's a little too high up in his clan to be called a deserter, because deserters just die. They just get hung and disemboweled. But yeah, when he made it
Nice.
home, his family made it abundantly clear that they want fucking nothing to do with him. So he was like, well, fuck you guys. I've seen what civilization brings. I've seen the atrocities of man. I'm good with just living on my own and off the land. And eventually he met Millie. And last
On the
session,
land.
I don't even know who was present when he talked to Keld. Was it just him?
No, it was all of us.
It was
Yeah.
all of you? Okay, I thought he would stormed off in a flurry of chodes from Mainan's tent, and I don't remember if both of you followed him.
No, yeah, we went out. Keld was giving us all a hard time, and then
he was just like, "Hey, why you guys acting like little bitches?"
and then we were like, "Fuck you! You're not my dad." and then he was just like, "Well, you got a lot of nerve starting shit, Applelock, because we know for sure that the warlock is the girl that you're looking for. And then he's just like, and then he left.
Right. And I'm pretty sure everybody there was, for the most part, like,
Yeah. Yeah. We're like,
especially since he describes her as a wholesome 9 years old.
yeah.
And who you saw was most definitely not 9 years old. Maybe like 29 years old.
Yeah. But it was a good bit of role play where he's just like, "What are you talking about? It's impossible."
It's
And-
impossible.
And then
Search
Keld's
your
like,
feelings, you fucking moron.
"Yeah, hey moron, you remember about time dilation?" Well, you know what?
It was right.
No, yeah, it was correct. Bands bail on shows all the time. It's just like going to any fucking show at Jackrabbits.
True.
Only
story.
2 out of 5 bands show up.
And it's
And-
usually only the locals.
Yeah.
Joke's on you guys. He is Legend isn't showing up.
Hey, great news, guys. We have an hour and 15-minute set, but we only have 25 minutes of songs. Play them 3 times.
Yeah, I once saw Evergreen Terrace twice in one night.
Wow.
They played, got off, and they were like, let's pack it up. It's time to get out of here. They didn't have another show the next day, and like everybody bailed. So they were just like, pack it out, boys. We're playing another show.
I hope they played the exact same set.
I don't think they did. I was like, I'm not sticking around for another. I'm not
then
sticking
it-
around for round 2 of
It
this
would
show.
remind me of like The Wedding Singer, where he's just like looking around, like, what do I do? Like, and then he just plays the same fucking song again.
Yeah. Do you really want to?
hurt me?
I did not see it.
No.
Oh, man. What a classic. That's back when
Joke's
Adam
on
Sandler was
me.
good.
Yep.
Okay. So, you want to do the thing?
Yeah, of course. So, anyways, yeah, Keld was just like, you guys are starting shit with basically everybody in camp. That's cute. Knock it off. You're dragoons. Fucking act like it. And then he walked off. I know you guys hung out with Hayden and discussed some stuff with him.
Did we?
Yeah.
Dude, it's been like 2 weeks. I'm sorry. It's all coming back to me.
Hayden had a discussion with you about basically like kind of how the empire came to be, or rather the Northern Kingdom came to be, and like the lineage of Joran.
Okay.
Yep.
We were having a discussion of who should really be on the throne.
Yeah, and he was elaborating on essentially the children of Joran, and that the child that's been chosen is like the least qualified, least tied to the royal blood on the throne.
He's a shit sipper, but easily manipulated.
Yeah, and that's Hayden's concern is like when this guy gets on the throne, he has ultimate authority over what is Hayden's family. Hayden Black is the oldest of the king's blood. And he rules his clan basically because King Joran was just like, it's your clan. You guys just are related to me, and I want you guys to have more autonomy. So he had a really good relationship with him. He didn't have that relationship with Joran's father. And he didn't have that relationship with Joran's father's father. He suffered heavily under their reign, and many of the blacks have always done that. So he expressed that he essentially just has reservations about this because he's seen what happens when someone plays the king for a puppet and it's his family suffers. And that's what his greatest fear is about the new king. And he expressed one semi-worthy candidate who would have been one of his firstborn legitimate son, who has taken on a new name and has moved and probably isn't coming back, and therefore probably would not accept ruling the kingdom or even claiming the throne. he's off on another continent, killing people for his mother's. I can find those notes, and I will just hand them to you. In the meantime, was there any questions that you guys had about last session that we can just go over really quickly in an attempt to kind of make sure we're all on the same page?
Okay, so the way I remember it, we went through, basically, we didn't do a whole lot, but we went from tent to tent. We talked to Uriel, and he's like, hey, I need to talk to Manon. And we're like, okay, I think we can hook that up. And we went, and we saw his squire, and he's like, hey, it's the middle of the fucking night. What do you want?
Yeah.
And we're like, we want an audience. He's like, fine, I'll let Manon know in the morning. Fuck off. So we're like, oh, okay, let's fuck off. And then...
Very loudly and very disrespectfully.
Yeah. And, well, I think that
You, not me.
qualifier can be, applied to everything that happened last session.
Well, I mean, it wasn't just you. There. We should put that in perspective too. I think, like, Chris is on one end of the spectrum, and Makolo is on the other. You're leaning on his end, and Nikki's middle on this end. So, like,
We had a good spread.
it was. I was gonna say, there's nothing actually wrong with that. That sounds about right. Like, it's usually it's only shitty if like two players on the exact same fucking page, because then whatever they fucking say tends to go.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really good watching you guys actually interact with each other, even though you were all drunk and walking into walls.
So then we left,
That's
learned
a
some
personal
stuff.
attack.
Keld was like, yo, stuff.
You were like the most sober out of them.
And then we got the audience, or we got to talk to Manon, and he's like, well, I'll grant Uriel an audience when I feel like it. I got a job to do. And we're like, no, that's unacceptable.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm pretty sure it's acceptable.
Yeah, he was like, as the leader of this war effort, it'll have to do.
We're like, fuck you.
He was like, thanks for letting me place my confidence in you.
So that being said, where are we at now? Fearless
You
leader?
guys have left Manon's tent. It is kind of probably like 8 a.m. Mostly it's like time for breakfast for most people. So, or they're rising up to do whatever is necessary around the camp.
We just had our argument, didn't we? That's where we left
you
off.
guys are outside of the tent. Manon was like, I'm really glad that I put all of my faith in you. You can all get the fuck out.
Noted.
Yep. And he was just like, that's not a suggestion. Thanks.
Thanks, Cap.
Yep.
And then
Adios.
we all had an argument
Yes, and that was
where
the
Apple
am I
told
not
all
your
of us to
people?
fuck off.
Yep.
And then you try to get me to like stay and listen. And I'm like, nah, we all need a fucking cool heads. I'm going to go do something else now.
You saw that there was a confederation of the Dwar, or the Dwarven people. So you went with them
That is true.
to check in and see what's going on.
So we're jumping in right after the "Am I not your people?" And
Yeah.
then you're walking away.
So you guys are giving it a couple hours, I guess. You are just kind of like in the middle of the encampment, like Apolock has stormed off. Nikki's still in the tent with her people. She was not asked to leave. She was just asked to stop addressing Manon. And you have gone over to meet up with the Dwarven delegation that you see.
Cool. It's my people. You can sit there and get mad about it all you want.
You just hear from the middle of the encampment, "Fuck you,
Whatever, you're still screaming to the sky.
Stella." Is it raining? Is it raining where I am?
Just where you are.
for dramatic
Just,
effect.
I mean, you can cast that on yourself, right?
I sure can.
I cast
That's
tears.
druid craft. The rain hides my tears.
Chris, you walk up to the it's like looks like 13 dwarves roll up. One of them has like a standard of the king. And they appear to be making their way towards Maintenance tent.
Okay. This is the part where we get to play now.
The part where you get to play now. You tell me what you're doing.
And I know that, like, so you said there's like 13 of them. Is there anyone that looks like clearly the leader of the pack there?
Yeah, they're the guy walking in front. He has no hair on his head, and he has this big black beard with like 3 braids, like one going down the center and 2 smaller ones that go down as well. And he does not appear to be carrying any weapons. And he has like both of his thumbs like tucked into a very large belt that's like that thick with a giant like golden buckle on it that says Banff. No, it does not. That has like a royal iconography on it. And he's dressed pretty well. He has on like a chain shirt as part of his vestments, but he still manages to look like he is not a real combatant and still fashionable at the same time, even though he's wearing some armor. Several of the other persons around him they vary in stages of armor. So, a couple of them are in like leather lamellar, and which is basically like cut out plates of leather essentially over like dense fabric. And even like 2 of them are in like full plate armor from like head to toe basically. Yep. They are like towards the rear, moving pretty slow. One of them has a banner. The other one has a battle axe that he's like using as like a walking staff almost.
Because of course it's as tall as he is.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so I'll go try to head them off and
Sure.
acquaint myself with the one in front.
Yeah.
Grab their attention.
As they see you, they actually you see like the guy in front. He just like throws his hand up. What was the original name of your family?
Do I get to make that up now?
Yeah, that's all yours.
Oh shit. I don't think I've ever made a last name because you told me it was Kaldar.
Yep.
Let's do like Valarin.
Valarin it is.
Now I know more of me.
And this guy like puts up like his like super stubby fingers and like with gold rings on it and makes his men stop. And he approaches you. And he kind of like looks you up and down and like gives you a small nod as you approach him.
Is that all he does?
Yeah, that is
Okay.
all he does.
All right. I'll go up and introduce myself. I'll say, "Hail, fellow Duar. It is good to see a familiar body."
And then he'll like do a slight bow and say, "Aye, it is good to see another dwarven face in the sea of pink-skinned groundlings. I am Yorflin Ironsong." You recognize that name right away. Ironsong is like one of the three top dogs amongst the dwarves. The other 2 are Mad Axe and Hammerfell.
Of course they are.
Yep. And those 2 are like having a little power struggle at the moment. But the Hammerfell are in charge. They are the king. or the House of the King. The Iron Song are like they're like a more of like a big time like merchant house. They're like less like they're just as likely to be like a thief as they are a fighter or a bard or anything else. They still like they'll still throw down with the best of them because they have to in order to like maintain their position.
Right.
But they try to control the markets more than they try to like control the people or thoughts. So,
Interesting.
yeah, the Iron Song are one of the largest proponents of your religion, mainly because it spreads out the dwarven nation, exposes people to the race in a good way, which opens them up for trade with the Iron Song, who are way more shrewd. So, works out to their benefit. He says, "And what is your name?"
My name is Turkyr Kaldar.
Turkyr Kaldar. And he'll like extend a big meaty hand. Yep, feels like you're like shaking a ham hock.
I'm just grabbing a piece of
Yeah.
steak.
Yep. And he like kind of squints a little bit. And he says, "Oh, before you took the oath, you look Valerian to me.
It's a pretty good guess.
You have their features. I bet they were none too pleased to lose you, even to such an order that is as respectable as the Kaldarans are."
We each have our own path to follow.
Indeed, we do. Many of my clansmen prefer to serve their coin purses, but here I am in the service of the king and the service of our nation. And he was like, "So we should catch up later. Tell me of the worldly news of our human friends, and I will share any stories I can of home, should that be of interest to you."
I will tell you as much as I know from the travels that I've had in the last few days.
Perfect. And he's like, "If you'll excuse me, I have to deliver a message. I shall be here for a few days." And him and his like guards kind of like walk towards Mainan's tent. The guards that are like up front don't seem too shocked to see dwarves. So you're thinking if, he probably couldn't make time at that very moment to see somebody, it's probably because he
Had something super important.
expecting some dwarves.
Probably had some important things on that there
Probably
document.
dealing with some international diplomacy. Roll me a d20, Chris.
17.
Okay. You know for sure that if they are actually from the Dwarven Kingdom, which they appear to have come from your the hall, that they would have had to walk through the South's battle lines to get here. Gotta go through the South to get to the North. That's how that works. So they would have definitely hit the South's lines. And they appeared unscathed.
Probably has to do with, money or whatever, but who knows?
Yep. Or the fact that it's like they're dwarves. Like, kill us and start a war. That's cool. Whatever.
It's
Idiots.
fine. Let me know how this goes.
Right. So anyways,
Hi.
you get done screaming Stella.
Okay.
What is your plan?
Been done for a while. Okay, so
He walks off. That is where we are at.
okay, so we're kind of back in time a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. I will start heading towards Uriel's tent.
Sure. You easy enough to get there. There isn't like too much commotion at this point in time. See that there's another mercenary band appears to have set up in the middle of the night. Aside from that, that is yeah. You just take notice that there's like a bunch more tents and a bunch of other angrier looking people around.
Right.
Yep. You walk into Uriel's tent. He will greet you. So what news do you bring?
Well, that could have gone better.
Oh boy.
Manon was not receptive to the speed in which we wanted our audience, but he said he would grant one. He said on the morrow.
That is better than not. So, thank you. I appreciate you all going out of your way.
You may want to withhold judgment until... No, just kidding. I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
So, with what may we occupy our time now?
For now, I guess there's much to discuss, but there is also much to do about camp. Is there anything that you wish to do in order to either aid the battle effort or prepare for it, should you be called to fight?
Let's take here.
And like as you're thinking, he
Yeah.
says, otherwise, there is still the hedge that we could, of course, discuss.
I'm eager to learn of what you have learned.
Very well. And I know he elaborated some, and that he's made it to the temple before. I don't remember exactly how much I told you about Uriel and his, or how much Uriel told you about himself, rather.
No.
He will actually he'll inform you that he believes he has found out how the hedge is kind of like breaking everything down, which has to do with the fact that whoever the warlock is discovered a text and has been manipulating that text and another text as well that he doesn't believe he can get his hands on. However, he knows that the antithesis to that is actually the same armlet that you guys took off of Jorn, and that armlet produces kind of a negative energy to that portal that she can create, and that it kind of closes it off. So it works as like a magnet does, in that it pulls reality back together. How he explains it.
Okay.
So with the bearer, and thus really the ability to pull reality back together, the more she uses her ability, the more likely she is to completely tear away reality. And that we could wake up in the hedge, and that we could wake up to not just the hedge's interference on our sphere, but eventually other spheres would start to overlap with us based on the alignment of the stars in the galaxy. So, for instance, right now the hedge is in its climax, for its ability to influence the world. And he explains it like basically the Festival of the Dead, and that the reason why on the Festival of the Dead people talk to the dead is because that, and give honor and reverence to the dead, is because that is the time in which the fabric between our world and like Stygia or rather not Stygia, but the heavens and the hells is at like their peak. And he was explaining that right now, the hedge is in their peak. The hedge can't be predicted like many of the other spheres. They just kind of wane and wax out. So we don't know if tomorrow we could wake up to literal hell, or if we could wake up in the hedge. But we do know that every time she uses any of these abilities, it increases the chances of that happening and tears away more of our fabric of our reality. We are exceptionally lucky in that we know she's tearing away pieces of the world and making them the hedge, but she just hasn't succeeded in doing it here in Aurok. And I don't think that I don't know if that's actually her intent. It could just be a byproduct of her selfish nature, that she's just using these portals to get her way or to do whatever. But she has enough knowledge to know how to use these things, which is incredibly difficult knowledge to come by, and also had the knowledge that King's armlet was essentially a dimensional anchor. And interestingly enough, where it comes from is the crown of the wild elven king that his ancestors slew, which has he's like, I have other bits and pieces of knowledge that do not pertain to this, if you would like to hear that as well. So this whole time that you've
The
been
text
discussing
tree
it,
opens up.
yeah, the whole time you guys have been discussing, you've been at like basically like the equivalent of like a picnic table inside of a tent, and he's just like breaking out book after book with like sketches and shit. So you guys have already been sitting down for like an hour discussing this stuff. And he's like, "Do you want me? Would you like to know more?"
I can identify your items for you. Thanks, Deckard.
So we've got to get that bracer back.
Yes. But we also have to put it on a king.
Therein
Is-
lies the.
Not too many of them walking around these days.
So you mean to say it needs to be held by the blood of the king?
It needs to be held by a king.
Just any king?
A king. Someone who has been given someone who has been given the jurisdiction over people, property, and land in a state. I don't. That's basically all I've gathered. But I know that it currently is not sitting on a king.
No. Mainin has it.
Well, if Mainin gets his way, we will be sitting here for months. Unfortunately, he is absolutely sure that if he can defend and hold this hill, and thus the pass, your dog just knock everything over.
He's just through,
Oh,
just doing his thing.
naturally. Yep. Hey, buddy. He can hold out against the southern forces. As more and more northern forces arrive, we'll be in a much stronger position. Eventually, they'll be forced to talk to us rather than foray with us. If we keep going on night missions, they'll never get the balls to attack.
Holding the position is well and good, but what does that accomplish for the world, the greater world?
Well, for us, it's a rather large setback. Politically, I mean, what would you do? He's just someone who believes in different things than I do.
Well,
But he is an effective leader and has been. I mean, he's a venerable dude. He's main in Eyeblight. He's the commander of the Dragoons, twice over. Like, I mean, before that, he was the king's duelist. Like, I mean, he's a rare breed of person, and he has my utmost respect. But man, fuck him. We do not get along. But I can't leave, and it has nothing to do with payment or coin. It has everything to do with I have to hold out hope that this works, that we can get him to see things from our point of view or meet us halfway somewhere. I don't know. I'm just trying to be as diplomatic with the situation as I can be. And when I feel like I can't be any longer, I won't be. And I will try not to, if that day should come, entrap you and your friends.
Well, we'll see what happens with me and my friends. But out of character.
Yeah.
How much do we know about Mainan's grand plan? Like, what is...
Has anybody asked him?
I
So
don't
far,
know. I think
what you guys know is he is here
Go lay down.
to defeat the southern forces that have basically already like encroached into northern lands. Essentially, they've already participated in like fairly large skirmishes. Now, what Mainan did is he basically like he set the pitch and basically said, you can meet us on an open field, you can fuck off. Because he's basically defending a hill on top of a hill. And that basically guards most of the pass around him. Like if you tried to go to the left too much, you'd overextend, you'd tighten your forces, and he would get a height advantage on you from the right. Or on the left, rather. And if you go to the right, you're like funneling yourself into the mountains really far. And there, the worst of your concerns would be another army meeting you in combat. So where he is actually the pass that leads from, is considered to lead from the south to the north and from the north to the south. And the north has a very strategic position. There's actually like where the second hill meets the first, and it's like here's like narrow ground, and then it kind of like goes up and leads up, and then there's a bunch of like flat ground on top of this hill, and then it leads up to another hill. And on top of this hill is like a giant watchtower. There's been like palisade established and all that other stuff, whereas like the South's camp is on flat open ground. And they've basically established like a parameter of various battlements, but they don't have any real. All of their equipment they brought from home. This is like a long-standing installation. It hasn't been utilized in like 15, 20 years, but it's been standing for a while.
So Hayden told us about the heirs to the throne.
What
Where are we at with like
Hayden specifically gave you both the kings and the females of men. There was basically Lady Alara Easleaf. And they had like a genuine marriage, but the king wasn't into her. Basically, he was into somebody else, and he had a bastard with that woman. her family was basically like politically ostracized, and she eventually like come to illness and died. And he was like politically pressured to basically be with this lady. Well, eventually that just didn't really happen. They split. They were just like, fuck it. She went back to live in her place, which is the Eye, which is fairly close to where you guys are at now. It's like the second closest settlement. You guys actually passed it on the way here. And that is where the Easleaf clan rules, and the clan of Eyeblight, which is Vanan's clan. There was their son his name was Prince Maddox. He actually renounced because his dad apparently a dick to his mom. When his brother Mikhail, when Mikhail was, and it's Mikhail like MCHALE, Mikhail, like Joel McHale. When that guy was who is the bastard son of the original lady, when he recognized his son, his bastard son, as a legitimate heir, that fucked their claim to the throne. So his son renounced him, and his like full blood son renounced him, one who had been born legitimately, and left to go fight in the colonies against Drayton, which Drayton is this world's equivalent of like
Britain.
France and Britain.
Right.
Yeah. So he's off there being a Viking. And Mikhail eventually died, actually in the service of the king, trying to save him from an assassination plot. And then he had a drunken evening with Jareth's sister, Yara Fellscale, and that is where the two current children, Macy and Magnus, were born. And you guys have learned that Macy has since passed away. She was killed by forces that belong to the Hedge. She was actually in the Imperial City when it went down. So they believe that is how they got her. The other heir is named Mason, and they have no fucking clue where that guy came from. Aiden's like, I know a lot of our king's deepest, darkest secrets. And that is one that he kept very close to the chest.
Do you want to get back together?
I don't know if I'm ready.
All right. I'll say to Uriel that I feel like I have much to think about, and our audience with Maiden tomorrow should prove enlightening. For now, let me find my party and bring them up to speed on everything I've learned.
Very well. I hope to see you soon.
Of course. And I'll duck out. And I guess I will start combing the camp for a particular little dwarf.
Good luck finding me, mate.
I'm fucking tall, right?
I'm a tiny little man.
You're like,
There he is.
have you guys seen a dwarf? And they're like, yeah.
That one.
Do you ask somebody if they've seen a dwarf?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's play them. Hello. Have you seen a dwarf wearing black and gold armor?
I don't recall what armor he was wearing. Was it plate? Chain?
Oh, he definitely had some chainmail on.
Yeah. There were some dwarves who came in through town earlier. I think the one with chain went that way, and he like points basically towards like maintenance tent.
Thank you, good sir.
Yep.
And I will head that way.
Sure, you are at maintenance tent.
Oh boy, here we go. Walk of shame. I will.
Chris, what are you doing? Like shining your armor somewhere, sharpening your weapons.
Were there any like injured or sick that I could help tend to?
Yeah, there's fuck tons.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, you're in the medical pavilion then. So Dan, you are at maintenance tent.
Oh boy.
The search for the dwarf continues.
I'm just gonna poke my head in and be like, "Hey,
Sure.
hey, I was just looking for Turkyr."
You poke your head in and
Turkyr?
you see Manon talking along with what appears to be a rather tall-looking dwarfen guy. He's still like whiter than he is taller, but he's taller than Turkyr was. With like a bald head and like super huge black beard, and he's like covered in rare minerals that you absolutely put no value in whatsoever. So it seems weird that he's wearing gold. But he's surrounded by several other dwarves of various arms and armor. You'll note that like they are all each wearing either plate, chainmail, or leather.
Right.
So you were not lied to. The guy was just like, were they wearing plate, chainmail, or leather? And you were like, yes. And he was like, then they went that way. Because he never saw Turkyr.
Okay.
So,
Oh, here we go. Hi, I'm back.
what several of the dwarves, like the ones that were in like plate mail, like one of them, like he had his axe across his lap, like stands up so fast he almost like loses it to the ground, and he's just like, you hear him like speak in Dwarven. You understand Dwarven then, right?
I actually don't. That's not one of my 7 languages.
You hear like a very like, do staff us, and the other guy's just like, Giantkin, and like they've interrupted the whole conversation. And Manon, and like the other guy, like when he says Giantkin in common, like the other dwarf like shifts his axe a little bit, and like one of the other dudes in like chainmail is like puts his hand on his axe and just like lowers it, and he like says something softer in Dwarven. Not quite sure what it is.
I'll take this moment to shrink.
Sure you go. Boop, boop, boop. And then like they look even more confused.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? And
Hello.
the emissary kind of like strokes his beard and looks at Manon and just says, my friends are surprised by the company in which you keep. And then like
I'll just kind of look at the floor.
the other guy in chainmail like starts speaking in Dwarven a little bit more, and the guy's like, he nods and he just says, you have my respect, tall one. Your kind fought alongside ours, is what I have gathered from my historian. Apparently the guy who like grabbed that guy's axe and like was talking to him, and he's just a dude wearing like a chain shirt and everything. You gathered that that's like the historian that he was just talking about. It's been the same guy.
Okay.
And Manon's like, what? And the dwarf says, long ago, when your and I's people dwelled above ground together, before we found enlightenment, this race of giantkin of Ith fought alongside our people.
Hello.
Like
Hello.
you like the elven prince, the guy with like the patch and everything, Prince Leanis, he's like also looking at you, but like he knows exactly what you are, and he looks at them and he goes, Ith means not completely shit in your language. And like the dwarves laugh. He is still a giant.
I'll get a chuckle out of that.
Yeah.
I think Carric would chuckle
And
a
like
little
the
bit.
prince laughs a little bit too. Quite a softer tone, but
So I'll get a little chuckle, and I'll drop to a little knee and be like, "You honor me with your words. Thank you for your welcome."
and like Prince Leonis is like, he didn't honor you with that word.
Surely he did not. I'm gonna look at Manon and I'm gonna go. I sincerely apologize for the trouble.
Manon
I
will,
was
like interrupt you and be like, it is no trouble at all. We are in the middle of a meeting. Yorflin, this is one of my men.
Hello. My name is, well, I don't have a name, but you can call me Carric.
He will extend a glittering hand. Feels like you're shaking a T-bone. It's like a
Just
man, just fat and but also
grizzle
like
and bone.
gristly, yeah. Mm,
the inside of the thigh.
yeah,
So, and I'll be like,
with leathered skin texture. Yeah.
it is my honor to meet you. I'm looking for my companion. His name is Turkyr.
And Yorflin will say, "Aye, I met him earlier. He's a good lad." And Manon will
Arguable best. No.
Manon will say another.
The character is great. Me, myself, however.
Manon will say, "Yes, he is. He's another one of the men in my service." And he will say, "Very well. You've impressed me. You have both a dwarf and an ith in your service."
Okay.
Just hear me from the medical.
We were not aware that the dragoons were so inclusive.
2018.
Diverse.
Diverse hires.
Yep.
We're just here to
They
satisfy
had
the
females
Rooney
before
Rule.
They had persons of color.
Yeah, it's the Rooney Rule.
Okay.
Persons of Demi.
Yeah. There we go.
There it is.
That's what you guys are. Persons
Pods.
of Demi. Pods.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
The fringe benefits of being in the dragoons.
That's our new fucking party name.
The
Pods.
The pods.
There's only one human in the fucking group.
Yeah.
It's Nicolo. So yeah, that works.
And he definitely is acting the most human.
Yeah, you
Like
you're
an
not
asshole.
wrong, dog.
like an arrogant asshole.
All right. So.
Yep, he will. Yeah, Yorflin will be like, I believe he walked off towards the northwest.
Thank you.
Indeed.
I'll be off now to find him. It was just an honor to meet you, to be in esteemed company. Please excuse me.
Very well. And they'll go back to their discussions.
And I'm just gonna scoot out of the tent.
Yep. Yes, there were no other dragoons present when you were in.
Interesting.
You're not sure if that's just because like they are technically on a battlefield and have shit to do, or if that was
Yeah, but
on
Talon
purpose.
was there like the.
Most of it. Yeah. He also was there at like 4 a.m. when you guys went back.
Yeah. So.
So he might be asleep.
Well, who knows?
Like you have to roll a d20 that one. Who might be a night owl.
Well, let's see.
I mean, it doesn't matter what you roll. I mean, if you roll a 1, I'll be like, you're right. Talon wasn't there. What's he out doing?
And then if I roll a 20, be like,
If you
you're
roll
right.
a 2 or a 2 to a 20, it will be the same answer I've already given you.
Should roll anyway.
Got it. The same answer you've already given me.
Excellent.
All right, cool. I know.
Might be asleep.
All right. So I'm going to take off towards the north/west. Northwest.
Yeah, you go north by northwest, and come across a very shitty music festival.
You beat me. I was working up to it. I didn't want to interrupt you. It's like the shitty
And
version
also
of
a
South by
medical pavilion.
Southwest.
Yeah. So you mean South by Southwest?
Well, I'm heading the other way. I'm heading North by Northwest. Is the
So I
shitty
guess it
one.
would be the good music festival.
Okay, there you go. All right. So, medical pavilion.
Yeah, it's not very difficult to find. It's like a white tent. There's like red stuff everywhere. That's about it. Most of the people in here are either camp followers or Chirurgeons, who are like collecting extra coin. Chirurgeons are basically barbers. So, but they were also surgeons back then.
Right.
Yep.
Well, let's. Do I see my boy anywhere?
Yeah, he's not very difficult. Fine. He's the only dwarf in the rest of the camp. You probably hear him before you actually see him, as he is fixing people's broken limbs and sewing people back together.
Okay, well, you know what time it is.
And regular, just in general, if somebody's just like, I need a prayer, I'm gonna die, like, you got it. Put in a good word to my God. Probably not your God, so it probably doesn't matter.
Nope. You know what time it is.
What time is it?
Time for a goof. I'm going to use Hidden Step.
Okie dokie. What do you do?
Why?
I turn invisible.
You got it. You were invisible. You're indivisible.
I'm gonna sneak up behind Turkyr.
Turkyr, roll a perception check.
Does dark vision count in this?
No, I'm invisible and I'm silent.
11.
Okay. You're just doing your thing. What are you doing?
Just gonna goose him. I'm just gonna like be 8 feet tall. I'm gonna come out of Hidden Step and I'm gonna goose him and be like, Turkyr!
And you get roll a d20.
Who?
You.
13.
You manage to not stab the guy in the face with the sewing needle as you close his wounds. You almost stab yourself, but you're fine. You're like, huh! You're like, the fuck?
You think this is a fucking game?
I will take the needle out of your hands and cast Cure Wounds and close the guy's wounds.
The other guy was just like, ah! As like you goosed him and he moved as he was like sewing him. The other guy's like, ah! Ah! Ah!
I'm just gonna be like, it's cool, you're fine. Hold on.
And he's like, oh shit, a miracle.
Yeah. I'm just gonna like cut the thing and be like, okay, listen. I know we kind of left off on the wrong foot.
Hi. And you're about to start it off on the wrong one again.
Oh, boy. Okay. Hear me out.
I'm all ears. Come to my level. I'm sorry, I can't hear you way up there.
The PPR thing? Okay. So I spoke with Uriel, and he told me, once again, because I know we had this conversation before, but he reminded me of the danger that we're all in. The situation is quite dire. We need Joran's bracer.
No, where is the bracer right now?
Mainen has it. We gave it to Mainen when we got into camp. Because
Okay.
you carried it.
That's true. I did in fact carry it, and then I did in fact give it to him.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we still have that wine.
Oh, man. No more.
No more Phoebe.
Okay.
Okay, so
Have you guys?
I was just telling him that we needed Joran's bracer.
Okay.
I just kind of was like, you know, Uriel reminded me of everything that he had told us before, the dire situation that we're in, and we need Joran's bracer.
And what exactly are we going to do with Joran's bracer?
The bracer can serve as a foil to the damage that the hedge is doing to our world. We either need to obtain it, or we need to inform the powers that be of the abilities that it has.
Sorry, my dog is snoring right now.
It sure is.
It's actually the guy that you cured. Now he's just like
Yeah,
in a
he's
slumber.
just asleep.
he's fucking good now.
Yeah.
He's already like get himself a little JO sesh and just like cranked one out, went to sleep on you guys.
Yeah, he's napster-baiting now.
Yeah, he's masturbating. I love that.
It's real cute. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so you've just now told me that
We
it
need the
basically can seal up the portals, yada yada.
Yep.
I feel like there's a piece of the pie that you're missing with this story. I feel like this bracer requires something.
Well, Uriel did say that it must be wielded by a king, which is why I said we need to tell the powers that be what to do with it. If they seek to put a king on the throne, we've got to let them know. This is a bigger problem than who sits on a rusted throne. This is a problem of the world. Hence why I acted so irrationally.
I never considered your actions irrational. You came from a place of good heart, good spirit. We don't disagree fundamentally. I'm in agreement with you of what needs to happen and what my heart of hearts tells us we need to do. Just understood everything else that was in hand. How would you suggest getting the bracer if we can't even convince for an audience today?
Well, there's an idea, but you're not going to like it.
Hi. Your idea is, are you going to disappear like you did on me just now and try to sneak by dragoons who probably can perceive their world better than I can?
I feel like the answer might be simpler.
What's that?
Well, I do this thing where I turn into things.
What exactly are you trying to turn into?
Are you gonna suddenly turn into a king? I'm curious.
No. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Neither do we.
Okay.
Nope.
So I was
Not
I
the
was
slightest.
We're
I
all
was
in the same boat.
I was about to I was about to like do an animal based Ocean's 11. To like steal the bracer. No, that's dumb. That's nothing.
As long as you eventually turn into a dolphin as the getaway vehicle. Feel like
There's not even any water around here.
just whatever.
It's flopping
Yep.
away.
So long and thanks for all the fish.
That'll confuse them. What the hell is that?
He cast splash.
I don't know what a
It's
dolphin
ineffective.
is. We're in a temperate climate. Oh, what's up, server assassin?
Yo, dude.
Yeah, we're OP as fuck.
I'm kind of glad the humans did. I'm just kidding.
Jesus. Okay.
I say this as the holy paladin.
But really, I just kind of came to make amends and make sure we're on the same page.
We were never not on the same page.
High five.
We just needed some time to cool off.
Okay. Uriel says he has more to tell us. If you like, I can assist in any way that I can here while we have wounded to tend to, but I'm curious as to, what the battle plans are. There's a lot going on.
As you guys are discussing stuff, you see one of your buddies walk towards you. His name is Cord. He is the guy who was wearing the orange scaled shoulder plate.
That was big boy guy.
He's like, one is almost like Grunt from Warcraft style shoulder plate,
Mhm.
and his breastplate is orange dragon scale. So is that. And then his other arm is like, this arm's like barren underneath it, and he's just like tattooed, and this arm's like in a chain mail sleeve.
He's the one who ate shit at Songhome, and
Yeah. He
Okay.
definitely fought and got wounded there, but he's
he's good.
he's like bald, shaven.
Mm-hmm.
He has like he has like a goatee that's grown out and like a little bit of scruff, but mostly this is grown out. He has it like braided.
Mm-hmm.
His like he has his eyes like ceremoniously like blacked over with
boy.
like the smoky charcoal and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so like that's like kind of like runs down his face.
Sick.
Yeah, but he looks gruff. He walks up to you guys, and his main's called a meeting.
That's convenient for the plot. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, he's like, after all the shit you gave him about taking a meeting, I suggest you guys take this one.
Nice,
And he's
nice
like-
dig. I like you.
Real talk though. The ball's on y'all. Whew.
Well, you know, I am very tall. Now,
Yeah.
okay.
You either have 50 children or are completely barren, is my guess. I have never heard
Hoping for the
of
latter.
a creature, human or dim-eye or otherwise, who has wished to part his way with his shoulders so much as y'all. He kind of is like barbing you guys basically the whole way there.
Yeah.
He's not doing anything like he's like he's not doing anything super insulting, and you can tell he's like he's trying to lighten the mood.
We had some giggles.
Yeah, and he's like, but when you guys get there, he's like, seriously, you guys have done really well. You guys have done more than many of the other dragoons wish they were able to do, and you have achieved a lot. Especially for creatures who are not of this kingdom and owe it nothing. But time to remember that now you owe it something.
That's what I was trying to tell this big boy.
I'm just going to put my hand on your head. Thank you.
And he's just like,
Do you feel the holiness radiating?
he's like, this is a meeting of the War Council, by the way. You will see and meet more than just dragoons here. I'm going to show your ass to all of the Empire.
No goofs.
Ooh, let's not.
There's no let's not. It's you not.
He opens back the curtain for you guys as the guards basically just stand there. And after you guys enter, you hear their steps and see their shadows, like basically step over. They're like completely during like the entrance to the tent now, from the other side of it. You guys walk in further. You definitely see a lot of fucking people. There's like way more. This is probably the most people you've seen in the tent. Most of the Elven delegation is left. There appears to only be Prince Leannis from his delegation, and he's residing at the same table that they were. Many of the dragoons are here, and there are several banners. You actually see that Uriel is actually here as well. He's like on the far side of one of the tents, or one of the walls of the tents, near some of the other persons that you gather appear to be leaders of mercenary companies.
Mm-hmm.
And each like house has a representative here as well. So you see there's like a dude in like a yellow and red like tabard with like a serpent with like wings made of bone. Serpent is like crawling around an hourglass. It's like an older man, probably like late 30s, early 40s, with like a big blonde beard. It's just wild, like long dreadlocks that are not in like Keld's fashion of like tied back, but are like very similar to that. They're just kind of like thrown over,
Okay.
and you recognize. No, actually, you don't recognize shit. Nope, you don't recognize him. That's for sure.
Nope.
You're not a human. Roll me a d20, Christoph.
That's a solid.
Okay. You do not recognize the house, but you recognize him as a leader of something or other. He is dressed in a. He is a very confident figure, for sure. Even though his appearance is far more modest than the other dwarven lord that was here before.
Mm-hmm.
You recognize all of the dragoons. Obviously, you both do. Talon is here. Lear, Skyborn, Nalia is here. Sverg is nearby.
Sverg.
Brant is, of course, here. Sir Lothar. The other figure that was here, like a crumpled dude with like a big brown robe, is on. And he's like on nearby at a table. And like another large guy with another large set of brown robes is on. Or he has them on, and he's nearby him as well. And he actually has like chains around his neck and hands that the guy is like holding on to. You guys take note of a few other figures. I mean, Keld is here, Hayden and his delegation. His great grandson is here, or I'm sorry, his grandson is here with him. And then you see two different figures aside from this other guy with like the yellow and red. There is a fairly tall and almost gaunt looking figure. His long white hair that's almost sheens with silver. And he has like a very like faint light blue, it's like almost white, but with like a hue of blue to it for eyes, and they appear to like pierce you as he looks you up and down. And aside from, he is wearing very interesting vestments. He has got like instead of like the browns and the leathers that other person was wearing, he's wearing like this like black long coat with this like white fur around the hood. And he has a peculiar weapon that he is wielding. It appears to be a sword of some sorts. It has a slight lilt, if you will. And he's like holding it by what appears to be the scabbard over his shoulder. And he has a glass of wine and looks at you guys while you walk in and like that. The other person next to him is by far the most standout amongst these people. The only thing that you see of this figure, of his skin,
His purple robes.
is no, Nicodemus is here too.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, he's definitely there. Just off in the corner reading. Yeah, you got it.
We're gonna do that thing where like you go into like the high school like assembly at the gym, but then you like spot that person that you know, and you're like, let's go over there.
Let's go hang out with the cool kids.
Gotta grab this bad boy. This guy looks. He is dressed in some kind of dragon armor scale stuff, but his looks like it's almost like a second skin rather than an armor. It is like it has like a metallic hue to it, even though it is definitely a like matted gray. but when you like sheen a light on it, it actually has a particular sheen where the light from the torches hits it. But otherwise it's like gray, like a matte gray. And like each arm that you see, like he's kind of reminds you a little bit of Keld. It's not as exaggerated, but it ends in like he's got like clawed fingertips. But what appears to be the most dangerous aspect of this is he actually has like a bone appendage that comes out of each forearm.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Sick.
And his like armor in the back also has like bony protrusions down like from the head of his armor, which has one horn, all the way down like his spine, most part. So there is even what appears to be like a vestigial tail-looking object that is like it's like not a really long tail. It just kind of like hits the ground and curves up a little bit, which has another large like bone appendage. And he doesn't even look at you guys, but as you move to get a closer look, he kind of like looks over to identify who is looking at him. You see like purple eyes, and like very, very pale, like more pale than my wife's skin underneath the armor. I mean, roll d20 if you want.
Well,
What are you going to roll? Let me know. You tell me what you want to roll, Daniel.
Do I know what or who he is?
Do you?
I want.
Okay. Well, you don't have to roll a d20. You don't think you've ever met this person.
Okay, well, do I know what he is? Because that sounds crazy town.
Looks like a human I just described.
Yeah, but
You're seeing like gaunt, pale features on the face within the helmeted armor. Like the armor isn't like, it's not Guyver style, it doesn't like cover up his face or anything, but it is like, it kind of like comes down very similar, but it opens up around the face. And you see that he actually has like a metal, like another piece of armor that he could swing around his, like cover the rest of his mouth.
So,
And
like,
the only thing that would be exposed would be his eyes.
the bone things, are they part of his arm? Part of him?
What knowledge would you like to roll?
Nature?
Roll it.
19.
You think that those bones could be draconic in origin? Especially, actually, you rolled pretty well because what's your wisdom bonus? 4 or 5?
Yeah, +5.
You
Jeez.
what other history or what other skills do you have?
I've got animal handling, medicine, nature, and religion.
Roll me religion as well.
That's not good. That's a 4.
Okay, you know that his scales are draconic in origin. You've never seen or heard of a gray dragon. You believe the bones are also draconic in origin. Yeah. It looks like a very exaggerated version of Cord's armor, where Cord actually has like ridged protrusions in his one shoulder plate that you also believe is draconic. You don't know a lot about an orange dragon. You'd also never heard of that.
Yeah.
But that's what he is wearing seems far more like plausible than this. You think from a natural check, a nature check at that something's not on the up and up. That guy's got something magical going on with his gear. That's dragoon armor or otherwise does not occur like, does not function like that.
Right.
So there is also a fairly tall and wide human figure in here as well. One that you may or may not recognize. And he is sitting behind a man who brought his own chair.
A man who brought his own chair.
Yep.
Keep
And
talking.
Also
Something's
has
going on with the stream, so keep going.
Yeah, no problem. And he's sitting behind a guy who also has his own hood up. Has very like bony, long hands, fingers on his chair. And there's also like several leaders from all the other divisions as well. They just don't look as interesting, but they're all there in their houses, already represented around armies with their banners. Basically, I've just described who's new that you guys obviously haven't seen or haven't seen a banner of this person. So each of the mercenaries that is here has a banner, one way, shape, or form. You see that like Jorn is like basically holding like a broken like shaft of a lance, and it has like a little like tattered flag of his. And many other of the mercenaries aren't wearing or like utilizing much better stuff. Like, let's see, you recognize the Bleak Company right away. There's like a couple of dudes who have like the ceremonial like smoked over eyes. Each one of them is wearing that from their little group of dudes. They all have like what you have come to discover are called blood braids, which is like a braid that is specifically woven in battle with beeswax and blood from the enemy that they kill in combat. It's like a ritual thing to some hyper-religious organizations in the north. The other company you don't recognize as well, but they have like conical is what they're called, or canonical helmets in their hands. They are the ones that have like they're the Viking helmets with goggles essentially that you see, and some of them have like chain in front of their shirt or in front of it. Other ones have like the leader appears to have like an almost like full wraparound helmet. They look very like Riders of Rohan-esque. And they appear to be like the most well-dressed, armed, and equipped out of all of these people. There is also a band where each one of them is missing an eye. And there is another band where each one of them has like a red fabric cloth like wrapped around their hands. Yep.
There's a lot of fucking people in this tent.
Shit tons of people. This tent is packed the fuck out. And as you guys are talking, more people are like kind of like pushing their way into the tent. Like,
Okay, well, let's push our way over to El Nicodemo.
yeah, El Nicodemo is just like, whoever you are, get out of my light or I'll catch you on fire.
Hi.
Like, and his thumb catches on fire.
I put my hand over it and put
And
it
he's
out.
like, and he like looks up and he's like, "Oh hey, I had to lit you on fire." And he's like, "While you have me here, can you flick to the next page?" Thanks, dude. You guys aren't leaving. He like closes his book and he's like, "Can't you guys respect an official meeting and let me slack off?" No, but seriously, it's good to see you guys.
Yeah, we're here for the slackers meeting.
Well, we're definitely doing that. And he like speaks up a little loudly,
Oh, Jesus.
almost comically, and he's like, "Because we sure haven't defeated any armies or anything."
Fuck. We made a mistake.
I put my hand off and I'm like, you know what? Go ahead and set us on fire. That would be
And like
better.
a couple people like look over at him, and like some people laugh and everything. And you hear a couple people like their glasses hit, and they just start like joking a little bit. And but then you hear Maynon's like gruff voice as he comes out of the back, and he says, "I heard that, Nicodemus." And he's like, "Fuck."
Hidden step. Hidden step.
He's like, "In my defense, I just assumed you were sleeping. You're old. It happens. It's okay. I just figured you took a nappy nap."
This whole time I'm kind of walking away from him. Just kind of like here.
Just Homer Simpsoning out.
Yep.
Yeah. Into the crowd.
And, people are laughing, and Maynard's just like, "You're not as indisposable as you think you are." Other people laugh as well. And he's like, "But much to the chagrin of even myself, I did not call us all together to hang Nicodemus for being a witch. Some people are like, oh, shucks.
Oh, darn it.
He turned me into a newt.
Yeah.
I got better.
We have sent a delegation to the Southern forces. We hope to sue for peace before the week is out. That should put us all back home within the next 7 days. That said, we cannot take anything at face value. South is treacherous, and they need to be respected as such. So, we have made an alliance with both our dwarven allies and, of course, the former dwarven allies of the south. King Fellhammer has promised to renounce his ties to the south entirely in an effort to pledge friendship to only the king of our kingdom. All trade will get approved by the king going forward. That is the deal offered so far. In recompense, the dwarven traders will find themselves in a more advantaged position with less tariffs on their goods. This, of course, affects none of us in the long term. So I hope you see the value in the deal that has been placed before us. We have also made an alliance with the Elven Conclave. They will produce for us a suitor who will marry into our king's bloodline in the next generation, or before this next generation dies. Our bloodline will be strengthened by the elves, and they will offer us their hands swords in battle. I have called all of the available dragoons at this time, and we have, as of this morning, accepted into our ranks 3 new mercenary companies, in addition to the services of the Bleak Company and the Blood Braided. And like the Blood Braided are like, yeah, that's us. We're the Blood Braided. Yeah, we're relevant.
Bleak
This
Company's
is the
just
only
like,
story beat we get.
Yeah, the Company's like, hey. Like you hear the Uriel's banner, like you see it raise and then you hear it like hit on the floor. That's about it. But yeah, the Blood Braided are like, woo. They sound like the Monarch's henchmen.
hey,
Dude, what are you doing?
oh, hey, I'm here to be a mercenary. What are you doing out there?
Dude, we gotta kill them all.
Yeah, Mom, get out of my room. Get the dog.
We gotta get our blood breeds.
We
We only have 2.
Oh, we gotta get him.
Any
My favorite scene in anything.
that cartoon used to be my favorite cartoon.
Yeah.
For sure. Venture Brothers was it before Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah.
I will mention that we have, of course, the esteemed Dread Band, and you'll see like the dudes who are like appear to be like more well armored, but also still like Northmen. They like kind of like do like a head nod, and He says, the eye sin, and that's the dude who have like all like one eye is cut out. And of course, the red wall. That's like the dudes who have like the red in their hands and they all like lift their fists up like they're straight edge.
Sick name, guys.
Yep. The red wall.
Stoner passion time.
And he will say, of course, leaving that behind, we have been gifted by the presence and the armies of the Fell Scale. And like people will like, some people will clap, others will cheer. Like the dude just like lifts up his hand and then that's about it. And like goes back to like holding it, basically his armor on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
So, from there, he moves on and says, and of course, the esteemed Warsong family has joined us. And like people are like whispering, and you see the dude in the armor, who's like, basically he just like does a polite bow, like from the hips, and the other dude who's like leaning on the table just like lifts up his sword a little bit, back over his shoulder, resting. And I have sought out aid from legendary Were Shaper, Orphus. And that's where like you'll see the dude in the very back, the old man. He will pull the chains on the big guy to bow. He will not move. Let him back up. And Nicodemus is like, how cute of you to forget the other noble house here. And he says, I meant no disrespect. House Black needs no introductions. They've been around that long. And Hayden is just like, cute. Very cute.
Yeah, his voice. I'll never forget.
Fucking hated it so much.
Yeah. It's annoying.
Is it?
But it's funny.
I can make it old.
No, I
It's
like
like,
it.
old man.
No, it's better the other way.
Cute.
Very cute.
Brr.
You don't like him angry and terribly Irish?
I don't know what that's supposed to be, but
I
it's
just
not.
imagined like if I put a potato on my grandfather's head, what he would sound like. And that's where the voice came out.
Nice.
Yep.
Voice specific.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys have seen him. He basically looks like the fighting Irish mascot from Notre Dame.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you have to do is fucking put him in some clogs and a green outfit.
With the little belt hat on.
Oh yeah. He has one.
Oh, I bet.
It's hung in his garage. It's been in his family. He even has a musket.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Well,
Sir Lothar is here, of course. Many of the other familiar faces that you guys have met in the past.
I wave excitedly.
Yeah.
Just like,
Manon is he takes another like jab at him, and he was just like, of course, the man who needs someone to help him get off of the shitter needs no introduction. And he's like, moving on. They have like a pseudo like battle map that they have set up. Oh, hello.
Hi.
So there's it's kind of like been like haphazardly drawn, and there's like some like wooden figures on the map of their like encampment, as well as the enemy's lines and what they've done. And he kind of essentially says, we're suing for peace, but we're prepared for the worst should it occur. And we will use our mercenary forces as an auxiliary. We will continue to punish their lines with deniable assets. And while that occurs, we will strengthen and bolster our own forces, which are soon to be reinforced. Should they not sue for peace, they have a flank attack on them with dwarven forces. And, of course, an unmatched and unparalleled service of the Elven Archers. We do not believe our forces are in any need to rush to shed unnecessary life. I do not believe we need to send young men to die when 20 years ago we sent every young man in the north to die. I believe we can handle this by peace, and I believe we can make a case for the new king to be known as one of peace. So, what say all of you? And like a bunch of people are like, aye. And then they just drank. And then Asmanin puts down his glass. And he said, but Odin fucking helped them if they don't accept it. And then everybody else is like, yeah! We'll fucking kill them!
And we were being real quiet up until then, and then we were like, yeah!
Violence.
I turned into a big old horned wolf. It's going to be the best.
Would you like to join us? Okie dokies. That is understandable. All right, so gentlemen, that is pretty much. There's like a lot of like meeting kind of goes around after this. Manon kind of disappears off to the back. You see like Leannis follow suit, as well as like a couple of the other dragoons. But everybody else appears to be like kind of talking amongst themselves. So most of the people that are here were like relieved of duty to come do this. So relieved of duty means they're gonna get day drunk. I'm just gonna get regular drunk. JK, this is wine. This ain't shit.
Tell that to the box wine the other day.
Yeah, but I had like
The box.
yeah, I had a lot. And I also had like 2 quadruple old fashions. So, like how I made our old fashions at the birthday party where I was like too light. I was just like, with this, I was like, and I was just like, whoop, of the old fashioned mix. And then just like shook in some bitters for good measure. And like, I didn't even stir it. I just walked into the bedroom. And I was like, this is the day I'm having.
All right, so do we want to mingle?
Single and ready to mingle.
Who do we want to mingle with?
You guys don't have to mingle the same people. You guys can mingle other people. You guys can be exclusive with other people.
Okay, well,
You guys can be poly with other people. You guys don't have to live next door to each other. I'm not. It's not. I was just making bad jokes. I'm sorry.
so I'm curious, what do you want to do?
I want to get to the next fucking scene.
I want to kill some shit.
That's where I'm at.
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
want to mingle with anybody. I want the day to proceed
All right.
to where shit is going to start happening.
Well,
Let's
it
go.
is like 11 a.m. right now.
Uh-huh.
Which is basically lunchtime. So all these people are in here like eating and drinking and talking amongst themselves. Manon's disappeared. What is your plan? Are you on autopilot, doing nothing? Okay. Dan, what is your plan? Also, Chris, roll an intelligence check.
I am not smart. 10.
Okay. You do recall the actual information given to you last session. Or at the very least, you don't, so your character does it for you.
True.
The actual story of everything I have written down, so I'll just read it to you once more as a refresher. Dan, you're welcome. Jorn fell for a handmaiden of his betrothed, which was Alara Easleaf. She was a strong and humorous woman of the Weaver clan, which is also another major clan, but they're not nearly as prominent as easily. He planned to break from his proposal to Alara, but his handmaiden died in labor, and Alara's father covered the event. So Jorn married Alara, regretfully, but his marriage fell apart after the birth of Prince Maddox, and when Jorn legitimized his firstborn son. They easily were incredibly offended by this, and saw this as a block to the throne. So that's when they separated, and haven't been on great terms since. So after that, the king did pursue a woman by the name of Lana Warsong, and that is where Hayden speculated that a child may have come from the union. But ultimately, that courtship did fail, partially due of the same person who King Jorn's firstborn son would eventually die to. Mikhail died to the Chamberlain at the time, who was known as Cephicus. Magnus and Macy were the byproduct of a drunken night, Scale clan. That is the information that was provided to you. I just happened to find it, so figured I'd share.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna chill with Turkyr. Let's just
You are doing nothing.
move through. Yeah.
You got it. So all of these super powerful, super important people eventually one by one leave the tent and go about their separate ways, and basically do nothing. And you guys are it is late in the evening. Almost everybody is retired. Where are you guys going to sleep?
I'm gonna go hang out with my dwarven dudes.
They are not very difficult to find.
I
They're-
promised him a sharing of tales.
They have the most, even though they are short people, their tents are the largest tents here.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Compensation.
Yep. And there's smoked pork and fine tobacco to be found there.
I'm bringing him with me.
Sure,
by the way.
yeah. You arrive there, and
The
the two heavily armored dudes at the door, they greet you. One of them even does he tries to do a slight bow, but his armor won't really help him, and you see him push off the ground with his shield to get back into stance. He probably didn't need to, but he was using it to help him. And the big guy with the axe kind of steps in the middle and just is check with Iron Song. The guy goes into the tent and makes sure that it's okay for the ith to join. And eventually the guy comes back out and he's yeah, he said he is feeling up to entertaining company this evening. You guys enter and Yorflin is there. And the guy who you've noted as the historian appears to be reading from a book in Dwarven. As soon as you guys walk in, they close it. The other dwarves are eating or smoking. Oh man,
You're right there.
I burped, but it when I burped, some stomach acid came up.
Oof.
I hit my vocal cords. Just immediately lost my voice for a second. That was weird.
It's a good point to take a break.
Oof.
You need to take a breather. You
Take
want
a
to take a
break.
little quick,
Take a break. Take a
5
break.
minute
I'm
intermission?
good. I could pee, but other than that, I think we should take a break after the scene.
Okay.
Okay.
If you guys can hold on for
Yeah.
a couple minutes. So I like how you guys were fuck the humans. Let's go talk to the dwarves.
That's what I want to do.
Let's initiate a dialogue with them instead. And Yorflin walks over and is just when's the last time you were home, son? He's a little rosy on the cheeks and
Sure,
on the head.
of course he is.
Yep.
It's been too many days to count. That is for sure.
I will smoke this and let it remind you of home. Let it remind you of the halls of which you came Yeah, it's just like tobacco, but you know, they in the dwarves that get a hold of it like season it and make it more robust. So, it is the second finest tobacco that you can smoke. First is actually an import from somewhere that you probably have never heard of.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, because I really don't remember the name of it. I don't want you to roll to remember the name of it.
Because then you have to look
Then
for
I
it.
have to look for it, and
I feel like it's not really pertinent.
it's really not. It's tobacco. I think we'll survive if I can't remember the name of a fucking country. Anyways, there's like a bunch of like carpets out everywhere. Like the tent is like adorned in just excess. There's plenty of carpets. There's like, instead of just building like a little pyre for some firewood or whatever, instead of creating a fire, they like built their own like fireplace here, like their own hearth that leads out of the tent. Everything is incredibly extra. They don't seem to be like, there's not like chests of gold, but there is gold here. Like the rugs are worth more than like you've ever probably made in your life. The books alone are tomes of, you know, just, I mean, books in general are I wouldn't say they're rare at this point, but they are definitely worth money, because at this point they're still being handwritten. So, lots of excess is going on, and smoked pork. Smoked pork. Smoked pork.
Okay, can we stop talking about the smoked pork?
Are you getting hungry?
I'm hungry, and when you said
I'm
tobacco, I was like,
I
will-
miss the hookah.
I'll start bringing the hookah next week. I didn't know how well he felt, and I know I'm a little coffee boy around it. So I just assumed sermons would be worse. So I didn't want to like peer
I'm good
pressure
now.
him into smoking, and then he would feel worse. And then he'd blame me for not having to be able to go to hockey. And that wouldn't be bad because we get to play Overwatch. But when we play Overwatch, he'd probably bitch at me about it. And I'm like, I already got one wife. Like, and on that note, I assume you guys don't do anything extremely awesome in this tent, right? Do you guys ask him any questions?
Yeah, just
Sure.
What you know, how did you guys get here? You had to have come from the south.
He will say that they have an alliance with the South. It is well known that they actually have an alliance with House Irengard of the South, who is a somewhat prominent house. They're the only humans that are allowed in the Ironwood, which is the dwarven forest before the Great Mountain. And the Great Mountain is what leads into the Great Hall. And the Great Hall is where you come from. You were born.
That me.
You slipped out there.
That me.
So the what he will explain is that a better offer for more expanse has been made for the Dwarven Empire. And we will take it. Our king will be pleased. We shall expand and become incredibly rich from all of this. Clan would be proud that you were here to witness it.
Well, here's to your rags to riches story.
It's like, there's no rags in my story, you joker, you crazy kid. I was born filthy rich. He says incredibly unmodestly. And like matter of fact, like, yeah, he's like, your family is haven't done too bad for themselves. It's been a joy to watch them rise in status over the last few years. They've helped my family make a fair bit of coin ourselves. So, should we ever require the assistance of your family above, then perhaps we could work something out, Groundling. It's basically being like, if you ever mend the bridge between your family or go back to them, I will offer you a job.
Right. If we ever do cross that bridge, you may hear from me. But until then,
He's like, he's very good. He like slaps his fucking pork chop of a hand on your back. It feels like you just got hit with a stake on your armor. And he's like, you know, yeah, he's just like, get this man a pipe. And he's like, in the if
Hello.
may also have stuff.
Ooh.
What would you like? We have pork. We have roasted fowl.
I'll take whatever you have, but unfortunately, I need a lot of it. If that's okay. I eat a lot.
There's like 7 literal pigs, which is like enough to feed villages for months. There's like tons of bird here, like
All right.
turkey. They've got you covered, my dude. They skimped on nothing. So, and he's just like, my men have been cooking since we arrived. There is no greater pleasure than eating. Other than eating a lot and drinking a lot
I'm going to look at Turkyr
smoking.
and say,
and fighting and making a lot of money
while he's going,
and making a shit ton of money.
when's the last time that we ate? Oh, keep going.
That's like really the end of his speech.
Okay.
After that, he like walks over and like rips off like the wing of a turkey and just starts eating.
I'll have what he's having. I just
He'll
walk-
throw you a bird.
I'm going to go pick up a pig.
just an entire pig. And you
I
just,
don't
like,
know
go
if you
over
can
to him.
actually eat a whole pig. That's like 700 pounds of meat. That's more than you are.
He'll find a way.
You might eat like
Just
a
increase
tenth of
size.
that.
Yeah.
Turn into a fell wolf and then eat
You
it.
might eat 80 pounds of that. Sure.
I'm a big boy.
Yeah, you are.
A grown
I don't know if
boy.
you're going to eat like 600, 700 pounds of pork, though.
It's doing a goof. Okay, so let's just. I'll shred out some meat and
Yeah. You guys have some delicious smoked pork, hot birds.
some of that wacky backy.
Oh, yeah. And there's plenty. Actually, you know what really hits you in the feels? Dwarven ale.
Oh.
It's bitter and black. Tastes
Disgusting.
like muff. Ugh,
But it's home.
it's the best.
I'll sip at it
There you go.
respectfully.
Sure. It's like a really bitter pitch black ale. And it yeah, as you like sip at it and you're like, I don't think I drank alcohol. He like the guy will slap you on the back and he's just like, that's a dwarven bearded clam. You're welcome. That's about it.
I'll be like,
He was just comparing the taste to pussy. That's all. Did you want that? Here, take the glass.
it's okay.
Take the glass. I've had enough. I'm good. He's only wine. Why you have to be
Where you
bad?
have to be beef?
All right, so I think we should take a 5-minute break so that way we can hang out with Nikki for a minute and I'll take piss breaks.
Yep. Sounds good.
It's been rad.
All right. Let's see
We'll
if the
catch you in
hotkey
5, my dude.
works.
Hello, welcome back to Dungeons and Dragons. Atlas Shrugged is awful.
And
that's where we're at.
we're back. Grass tastes bad.
I wonder if you guys can guess what we were talking about right before we hit go off the intermission.
Spoilers, it's not what you think.
That's right. So, anyways, you guys kind of like hunker down with the dwarves for the evening. You wake up the next morning. It's about 6 a.m. Sun's up. It's like starting to get a little warm. All the mist is falling off of everything. And by starting to get a little warm, I mean it's starting to climb out of the 30s. It probably won't get much warmer than this at this time of year. However, you do see like a bunch of new like banners and tents as well off in the distance.
Oh,
You recognize them as the banners belonging to House Fellscale, which is, you guys don't really recognize the dude who was there representing House Fellscale, but you recognize Keld as Keldon Fellscale, and that was apparently Keldon's actual house. And there are also like several other houses banners that are up around those tents in smaller fashions. One has like the head of a ram. It's like a red. It's a black and red flag, where it has like the head of a ram with like these gnarled horns moving around. There's a couple others, but those are like the two most distinctive flags that stick out as something to you guys. Of course, there's like House Black, which has like their moon and the crown over it, or like what would be considered a crown. It's not the crown you think of when you think of a crown. Of course, there is a small tent, or I guess I wouldn't say it's a small tent, but it is the smallest conglomeration of tents, where they have a purple banner with like, it's essentially it's House War Songs sigil and flag, and you guys see off in the distance a flag that's very similar to House Black, except it has a green outline in the black, and the crown is missing, and the moon is covered in like what appears to be like these green emerald like vines, thorns, essentially, and like the outline of like a rose is in the background. But it's still a black flag, and all of the trimming is green. So it's not like, you kind of have to like squint to see everything.
Yeah. Like,
It was not a good color palette choice. Whereas black is like black and then white all the way. So, but you recognize that as House Blackthorn, for those of you who have paid attention.
Is there a test later?
There might be if you guys try to enter the country.
That's true.
Name 3 major houses. Go.
Blackthorn, War Song, Fellscale.
One of those was a minor house. You fail.
That is true. That is true.
Even the
Helfin.
Yes.
Even the lore master
There you go.
failed.
That is a major house. Who is not represented here?
Interestingly enough, I did take note
Well,
of
they
that.
did just lose a whole city. To be fair.
Can I roll intelligence on the ram people?
Yeah, sure. Please do. Also, Chris, you do the same thing.
Sure.
That's a 15.
That's a 19.
Yeah, it's a 20 for you.
Oh, that's a 20 for me.
You both recognize it. You recognize it. You've seen art of this before. You actually know of the house. You've seen this. Bela.
Oh.
She actually had the tattoo of this insignia on her face of a red ram.
Oh, that's right.
and she wore vestments that were red, in addition to her scales. They are House Harkon, and they are considered they are a mountain clan, but they are considered very close and similar to and close cousins to some of the northern houses. They are still a minor house. There's only one major mountain clan or mountain house, and that is House Fellscale. They're the only people who have like a designated city that is theirs, and they took it by force. That they're the ones who took over the Runalian Empire's city that they built here at the King's Allowance. They have shared a lot of that victory with House Harkon. And you see two other like mountain banners in the distance as well.
What are we doing?
Hopefully fighting things.
Yep. Yeah, there's like a few
He's-
other houses that have arrived here. Nothing like incredibly special.
This guy's ready to fucking fight.
Apparently. But you, well, sorry to disappoint you. You see Uriel on his way to Main's tent.
Hey!
I fight Uriel.
It's audience time.
Yeah. And he's like, hey guys, I'm about to go meet Mainin. Thank you for getting me this audience.
You mind if we could?
Do you wish us present?
Do you mind if we come with?
I think you absolutely should, but I don't know that you guys should stand with me, if that makes sense.
We'll play it off.
Well, just
He is accompanied by the Willow Woman.
go talk to her.
Okay.
And you actually see one of the like really well armed and armored figures of the Dread Band is also walking with him. Yeah, he's got like a long lance over his shoulder, like holding it more towards the base, and it's like going up like 7 feet in the air. And he's like wearing his helmet in his arm as an accessory, kind of walking around camp.
Say hi.
Hello, I am Esserus.
Esserus, I'm Carric.
It is nice to meet you.
Likewise. Are you traveling with Uriel?
I am. He's a good friend of mine.
Oh.
We fought long ago together in the Dread Band. Now I lead them, and he leads the Bleak Company. As if being reunited with a brother has reunited me with a mercenary company. I'm here to vouch for him, as I have a fairly solid reputation with Maine.
That is much appreciated, considering our last interaction with me.
Well, whatever you did, I hope that my presence can offset that.
Nothing to
Uriel
say.
will
Nope.
Okay.
say.
Just because.
Say, I thank you for coming. As Esserus has said, I hope that he will eliminate a lot of the bad cloud that is formed over the relationship with Mainin and I. So, Esserus and his men have been a hard counter to the Southern Knights for quite some time. And it is that reputation that he has earned that I hope kind of helps us out here, at least in terms of our credibility.
Well, let's hit it.
Very well. You guys like walk towards the tent, go inside. You recognize again that like several of the other faces that you didn't really like mingle with. Like there's the dude with silver hair, and like black armor with the white fur trimming around the back of his neck over his cloak and jacket. He looks at you guys, more so at Uriel as he walks in the tent. You see like Cord is there, Keld is hanging out.
Hmm.
Many of like the leaders of the different houses are there. Hayden is there. You do see, of course, like Talon, Lear, Nalia, Brant, several other dragoons, Sir Lothar, as well as like that other crazy dude, Sorfus, and his like lackey in the back. And then you see that the other dude who was leading House Fellscale is there as well. So mostly it's like important people, as well as the Elven delegation is present, where Prince Leannis is there. You don't see anybody else. It's like him and like two other dudes. One of which seems like he's like wearing like furs and leathers and like has a hood up, and the other dude is wearing like armor made out of like bronze, and it's very like leafy, and it's very different. But more so, he's more well armored than the other figure. As you guys approach, Sverg will walk up to you all. Say, it's interesting to see you all arrive together. I will alert Main to your presence.
We just happened to be walking at the same time.
Yep. You will,
Long night of pulled pork at the dwarven tent.
I have heard only tales. He will look over at Uriel and at the Willow Woman, and what is his name? Esserus, and he will say, "Can I pour you a glass of wine?" Willow Woman will, in true like creepy fashion, will be like, "I do not drink the blood of the dead."
All right.
Uriel will be like, "Yeah, it's early. Fuck it." And Esserus will also take a glass of mead as well, and the honeyed wine is poured. You don't think they offered you any, guys, because like they're not here to.
Nope.
Yeah.
They're just. But the mead is out on the table. Sverg is just not pouring your cups. And he offers some glasses and says that Mainen is still stirring and will be out here shortly. Hayden is like over in the corner, over at you guys. Bit back to sipping on some mead.
I step to the side and just wait.
Excellent.
What are Keld and Brant up to?
Brant is actually near Talon, and he's not sitting in a chair. He's sitting on a chair where his ass is like up here
On
and his
the
feet-
back of the yeah.
And he appears to be like he like mentioned, like he sees you guys come in, he like goes like that and salutes you, goes back to like his fingers like this, and he's like seems to be talking to Talon in a fairly like low voice. And if Talon is acknowledging anything, it's not kind of like not really like doing anything else. But he doesn't also, he has his helmet nearby. It's like on the table next to his cup of mead. But he doesn't appear to be wearing it or anything. Like he's like dressed as much as he's ever been for battle, with the exception of his helmet.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess I'll walk over there.
Sure. Talon will see you and will kind of like, he tips his sword in the scabbard as you walk over, and just kind of like goes back to like listening in with his ear. Brant will like nod his head to you and say, "It's good to see you." We'll get up and like shake your arm. He'll say, "So, brother, what brings you to the tent this morning?"
I was here to vouch for the word of Uriel. He has important news.
"I've heard. I was asked to come here, verify any intelligence that he has to offer.
Fantastic. I hope that you can provide some insight and some credibility.
Well, if I cannot, then we are hoping that Keld can. He will be the tactical expertise in this endeavor, as he has taken over many of the forces of the battlefield recently. You actually, Keld is like more closer to the like big table with the like the wooden piece map on it.
Yep.
You recognize it as essentially the same stuff that was in Mainen's tent when you guys were on the road.
Okay. I'll say hi to Keld.
Yeah, you like walk over and he gives you a hug. So it's good to see you. I hope you come here with a different attitude than before.
An open mind and a clear heart.
I hope. And I hope Uriel has something very relevant to say to Mainen.
I believe it is.
Then I believe you. And I trust you. I will hear him out as well.
All right. Get to the scene.
Sure. It's not very long. The figure in the white hair like stands up and walks over towards the table near Keld. Keld will actually like nod his head and move out of the way for the figure, and he like looks at the table and he takes his sword and he like moves these figures like from the south over, and then just kind of like puts his sword back over his shoulder, and Keld says, "Are you sure?" The other figure says, "I am absolute." That says, "Very well. I will make preparations." He like snaps his finger and like a dude comes over. He's just like, "We need to move our forces here to bolster here." And at about that time, like as he's talking to the guard, Mainen like walks through the back. And my apologies for being late. You notice like Keld's going on with talking to the other guy just in a lower voice. Says, "Uriel, I owe you time. I must apologize for wasting some of it already. I shall give you that which you need. What do you require from this humble dragoon?" Uriel will bow, like from the hip, but he'll go lower than you think is probably necessary, or at least lower than you guys would bow. Fucking sacks of shit. Uriel says, I cannot express enough gratitude for taking this meeting, Mainen. But unfortunately, I feel every moment that we stir here is a moment that we are wasting upon the true enemy. And Mainen like rebuttals. Is the true enemy simply not war? The true enemy simply not the ones who have risen spears against us? They're the same as the enemy we have confronted and won against in the past. He like kind of has a book and he reveals it, and he says, I have attained knowledge that I believe we did not win. I think that was only a test. Their own capabilities, not our defenses. Indeed. Present evidence. And he will like start to walk over, and you guys will actually see Cord kind of like, "Nah, it's fine. I'll take it. It's cool." And he'll like take it, and you guys like as you're close by the table, you're just kind of hanging out at a table, probably with Hayden. That's probably like the most familiar, friendly face you're with. So you're with like the geriatric
Yes.
motherfucker.
My man.
He's like leaning over his cane, kind of watching intently. Cord takes the book, brings it over to Mainen, and as he does, Mainen like touches it, looks it over, like flips through it, and then hands it to none other than Nicodemus. Nicodemus begins to flip through it and pour over its pages.
Seems legit.
And says, "However, did you decipher this?" And Uriel will say, I deciphered it very illegally. I came to knowledge of some of these writings that are in this book, but not all of them, during my time in which I spent in the hedge. And Nicodemus will say, what were you doing in the hedge? And Uriel will reply, trying to find my soul. Like Manon will like lift his head a little bit, and Brant will kind of like see him like looking at him with like daggers for eyes. And he kind of like starts to walk a little bit away from where he was with Talon, kind of parallel to Uriel. I've not attained everything. I have heard that you have claimed another piece of literature. I could use that to decipher the rest of this text, find out where our enemy is coming from, how they are opening these portals, and how we can seal them shut. And Manon is like, how did you come by that information? I've only trusted my very best men with that knowledge. And he says that kind of like looking at you two. And like he kind of like mildly glances over at Brant and Kel, but like mostly intent on you two. And he says, you need not distrust your men. I scried it with my own capabilities at my disposal. I possess a gift that was given to me by creatures of the hedge. It was a mistake. I have lived my whole life in redemption. The company exists to fight these injustices, these otherworldly figures and powers. I agree that a lifetime of redemption does not make up for a single sin. But I need you to hear me out. The hedge is coming. What I have discovered is the truth. We need your knowledge, and we need the king's armlet to seal the gates. And he says, the king's armlet, how does that work into this? Because the king's armlet is not just a symbol of the king. It's like a magnet. It forces shut all of the portals that would or could open. It is the reason why they don't stay open permanently. Even its residual effect is powerful enough to, over time, force any intrusion away. But it needs to be on the arm of a king who can invoke its power properly in order to protect our plane of existence. I can show you most of how it works. I don't have it all yet. I need what you have. I need the book that you have in order to decipher it. But I have the rest of the knowledge in place, ready to go. I am willing to work however you need it to work, but we need to move fast. I don't think waiting until the end of the week for a cause of peace. I think even in that time, something bad could happen. And Manon kind of like looks around. And you see the old man in the figure, or old man in the robes known as Sorphus, stand up and say, "Aye, boy, and while you were scrying on your betters, I was scrying on you. What is your name?" And turns around and acknowledges him. "I am Uriel. commander of the Black Company, or the Bleak Company. Not the name you chose, not the name that you gained by losing a soul, but the name that you had in which, when you had a soul, you were called. I am Mason. Your eyeballs. I was born a bastard to the king. Yes, I am that Mason.
You will.
You fucking will.
Yes, I sold my soul, a king's soul. Yes, I was an enemy of our kingdom at one point. I live every day to fight against those enemies. I have acknowledged who they are and what they are and seek their destruction. I need your help to destroy them. And then you can hang me from the lowest branch you find. And Sorphus kind of stands up and like his lackey lunges forward a little bit. And what do you think, Manon? And Manon will say, I think he hangs from the lowest branch upon this day. You are a traitor, and your knowledge will be taken into our custody. We will take the appropriate measures, and I thank you for your sacrifice. You are a dead man. And at about that time, like you hear like the chains get pulled on like the dude, and like you guys see the robes like open up, and like this gigantic, just as big as the enemy that you killed before, the half orc, this man like shambles forward and just like starts breaking out of his skin into all of this like fur, with only like a shit ton of scars underneath that you can see from underneath the fur. And he says, Rax, detain the traitor. And as that occurs, you will see Hayden Black and his great grandson get up, like swords drawn, and you don't think you've ever seen a man like bolt that fucking fast, or an old man. Hayden like almost jumps in front of Maiden on his like hands and knees. His son, Fallon, has his, or great grandson Fallon, has his sword pulled and is like standing back to back with Uriel, and is just like, you will not proceed until the elder has had his words. Orphans, I nor Rax care for the words of mortals, but I will allow the elder his words. He's earned them. And Hayden is like, dude, Manon, we have known each other for way too long. This is actually the heir to the kingdom. You cannot kill him. Manon is like, turns his back a little bit and is just like, you already heard him. His name is Uriel, and he's a self-confessed traitor. There's nothing we can do here. Like Sir Lothar like pulls out his sword. Talon does the same. Sverg kind of like moves over to the side of Manon, and you hear the guy with like white hair say, interesting. So you would kill the king's son who has a stronger blood tie to the throne. And Manon says, of course I would. And would you not recommend that action? Says, of course I would recommend that action. Were he not my sister's child? But this puts us at odd, Manon. Let him fuck off. Let him leave. Let him present value. Be gone. And it says, I will not allow him to present value and leave. To punish us tomorrow. To threaten our hold on the kingdom tomorrow. Cord. Do it. Like you see Cord kind of like stroke his braids and he's just like, no, I'm good. Kanan's like, the fuck? It's like, no, I'm pretty fucking good. If it costs me my scales, that's cool. I'm not killing my king. You can kill your king. That's fine. You can kill the king. But he's my king. And he's way fucking stronger than that fell scale whelp you found. And that's when like that's where you see like the other guy with like dreadlocks and beard, the guy who's like in his late 30s, early 40s, like stand up. And he's just like, you best believe I'll kill you. And like, well, actually verbatim, he says, I will fucking kill you. And like draw a sword. And like everybody fucking draws swords. And everybody in this room looks like they're about to fucking go at each other.
He's so fucking proud of himself that he already knew.
I didn't know all that.
And then you guys like hear like the bells of battle being rung over and over and over again as the camp falls under attack. And as that bell rings, Manon looks at Uriel and says, someone fucking kill him. And like he starts to like turn around, and as he does, like you see the blade of the dude with long hair like come unsheathed over his shoulder, and is met very quickly by the short sword that Sferg has. He like deflects it and like moves into combat with this dude. This whole room fucking erupts in combat.
What do you do?
I would say roll initiative, but you guys aren't in combat technically. You guys actually see Keld look confused for a moment. He's not doing anything at this point in time, and neither is Brant. But Sir Lothar, Sorfus, and the figure he called Rax, Sverg, Brant, or Nalia, Jareth, Talon, they all erupt into combat with like Orphan, Cord, Hayden, and like some of the Black family members that are there. Like there's a bit of a little bit of a battle. Obviously, like Esserus and the Willow Woman are in combat as well.
What do you want to do?
Well, this puts us in a bit of a sticky wicket. I'm going straight to the dudes that are confused and gonna go talk to them.
Closest one to both of you is Brant.
Talk to Brand.
Yeah, you like run over to Brant, and he's just like, there's a giant fucking fight, just erupts, and you see like
It's just like looking back and forth, like
it's brutal.
the fuck.
Yeah, he hasn't even drawn a weapon. He seems to have a hand over a dagger, but he hasn't drawn it or anything.
You're talking to him.
This infighting needs to stop. There is a bigger attack coming.
Indeed. So I don't know what to do. I cannot stop these men. This is madness. on both accounts. We have a demon worshipping traitor, and we have our captain behaving as if he is a blood craven fool.
Well,
You are closer to Keld. What do you do?
I guess I'll yell at Keld.
Ah!
Just
You've successfully yelled at Keld.
yeah. I'll just
He has been yelled at.
grab his attention and be like, "What's the move? We have to do something now."
I fight for the North, and therefore my king. I mean, and you see him enter the fray.
And I will, as he's running, I fight for the king, Felwolf.
Sure, you turn into a fell wolf in the tent.
In the fucking tent.
It's large enough
Well,
to
you're
Yeah.
you're an initiative.
Yes, you are.
I'm gonna do something. Can I do something different
Sure.
while he's doing
You
that?
can do whatever you want.
They're all in the middle of a battle, so they're not paying attention to me. That's correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to go back to where Mainin lays, and I want to grab that bracelet.
Oh,
Yeah, sure.
this guy. I love you.
You walk towards the back of the tent, and that is basically where your initiative ends.
Okay.
It's like you getting back there. And then we'll actually go to initiative order. And that includes you, Chris.
12.
That's a solid 2, my dude. Hopefully no one saw me sneaking my wake.
You're little.
There's a bunch of
You
fighting
got a
going
solid
on.
2?
Yep.
And what did you get?
A 12.
Okay. Well, wouldn't you know it? The 12 goes first.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so situation. Uriel is protected by Orphan and the Black family.
Orphan, the dude with long white hair, is fighting Sverg.
Okay, so he went for Mainin and
He-
Sverg blocked him.
Yes.
Okay,
And Mainin, fucking cold-blooded, didn't even look back.
nice. It's a cool scene. Rax.
He's giant. He's easily weighs just as much as you do.
Good. He's going for Uriel.
He is technically going for Aiden's great-grandson.
Fallon.
Yep.
Okay. Who is anybody attacking Uriel? Or are they all tied up?
They're all pretty tied up, but there are more of them than there is of other people. Ford appears to be fighting several dragoons. Grant doesn't appear to be doing anything. Keld hasn't actually done anything yet.
Yeah. Well,
Lothar appears to be going directly for Uriel.
Here we go. I'll intercept.
Sure. You are there.
Okay. If I ready an attack, if he moves on me, I get first go, right? Is that how
No,
that works?
it's your initiative. It's either attack or hold.
Like if I hold and ready, does that mean if he tries to move, then I get an attack of opportunity on him? Or
If he presents, so how an attack of opportunity works is as soon as he presents the technical opportunity, you would attack. But in order to do that, it would be you'd have to try to move around you, or to try to maneuver in such a way that would be advantageous for you to strike out against him as a freebie. If you were to ready an attack, it's more like you could go somewhat simultaneously with him. Yeah. Like you would have to roll to see if you could do that.
Chris, what do you think?
I think you should do what your heart desires, because I know what I'm doing in there. I think you just need to go for non-lethality. Like if there's a way that you can like sort of scale back your attacks a little bit and not maim them. But then again, these guys are all probably much stronger than you. So even if you like hit them hard, they're gonna be like,
let me knock his ass out.
Sure.
and
All right. So, guess I'll take my attack on him.
All right. He is certainly surprised when the fell wolf jumps over and begins to attack him.
Uh, 21
That will hit.
and oh, I'm sorry, that was a 26, and that one is a 29.
2 hits.
Yes, it is.
That's my claws.
Yep.
I can't use my bite, right?
You moved,
Yeah.
so you can take 2 attacks.
Okay.
Charge, you use 1. If you move,
Gotcha. Okay.
Oof, that's a lot of attacks.
Mm-hmm. $19 damage.
total.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you like slash into his white armor. Get plenty with blood. Slash into him. Seems incredibly surprised as he like makes distance with the sword. Like basically swings it around, pulls it down. And so he simply says, "It should have been you that died in Songholm, brother." Does a 16 hit you?
Nope.
Does a 19 hit you?
Yes. It goes to the runner, right? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It matches.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
Yeah, that'll hit.
You will be taking 13 points of damage. And you see that he has, like, as he swings his blade, like, pierces you with it on the second attack, he, like, pulls it back. Appears to be kind of posture for whenever he fights. Aside from him, the one of the dudes, Fell Scale, is fighting against Cord, and we'll see him. A Langsi axe and an actual sword. And you will see him like basically slash across like Ford's midriff with both blades, ducking underneath his axe.
Lothar fucking throwing that shit. Unbelievable.
What side is Lothar on again?
Manons.
Mm-mm-mm.
You guys will see Talon like walk past Hayden. Hayden like stand back up on his cane, try to get in the way of Uriel. Talon like take out his like heart, and Hayden like hits the bricks. He's just like, and he's just like, and he's like, oh fuck.
Oh no!
And, yeah, he hits the fucking ground hard, and Talon's just like, and keeps walking, and is technically behind Uriel. And Fallon like steps in the way of the large creature known as Rax, and Rax like misses one swing as Fallon like ducks underneath it, which looks like it would have like fucking knocked his head off his shoulders like a basketball. And then he proceeds to like lift a leg and kick him off of the ground. And you like all hear a significant crunch as the kick impacts. And you hear the wind leave his body as he like fucking flies up and hits the ground. He does not appear to be dead, but he appears to be fucking very injured, attempting to pull himself back up. See Berg kind of like maneuver around the longer sword of the person he is fighting with white hair. Like turns the blade, he like deflects a blow, and just comes across his neck. That's kind of into the side of it. And you see, and he kind of like rushes in against him. And then it will be your initiative. Basically, Orphan like comes around, and as he goes to deflect again, I think the guy Sverg is like way better than he let on about his martial prowess. Is what you're getting from this guy. The other guy like takes his blade and like maneuvers around him, ties him up, and then basically like punches the hilt of his sword. They're like in a hugging stance. He like punches the hilt of his sword underneath his ribs, and it like comes out of his armpit on the other side.
Oof.
And that is Sverg just goes, ah! And like that is the last breath he will ever breathe. And the other guy like whips his blade out of him and turns around to face another foe. And Ford fighting the other guy. He takes his large axe and he like swings it once. And it like kind of like chips him off guard, and his swords move out of the way, and he immediately like turns his back to him entirely, uses the momentum and swings another swing, and like catches him right in the breastplate, which like you guys hear like metal crumple, like blood flies, and the guy appears to still be up. He just gets hit very, very hard, and like he like backs up, puts his hand on his chest, and he dropped one of his swords. And you guys see Keld move in. And he actually, he like straight up grabs Talon's sword, like with his fucking hands. And like grabs his sword arm at the same time. And is just like, no, this is our hope. And Talon's just like, he may be your hope. He like whips the sword through his hands. And you like see like the black ichor from his gauntlets like fall to the ground as he swings at Keld, and Keld like blocks with his gauntlet and it bleeds again. Hayden is just like, and Fallon is like crawling over to his great grandfather, He's just crawling up for it. He's like, Grandpa, I've failed. And then it's your initiative, Turkyr.
All right, so I'm in his quarters.
You're at the back of the tent. You like walk in. You don't see anything apparent. That is a bracelet, but you do see a book. Roll perception.
That's a solid 19, buddy.
As you are like digging around through all of his shit, you really find nothing except for the book. You think if the armlet was here, it was taken somewhere else.
Okay, so I'll take the book.
Very well. You have the book.
Sweet.
And you like walk outside of the tent, and that'll basically be your initiative. Or outside of the back of the tent.
Right.
You guys hear horns in the distance. They're the horns of the north sounding off. There's tons of noise outside going on. So, like, even as loud as you guys have been, there's noise everywhere in the camp.
Well, there might be problems outside, but we got problems inside.
It goes around to Dan. What are you doing?
I've got Lothar in front of me. Keld and Talon are behind me. Uriel's behind me. What did Uriel do?
Uriel basically stood around in shock and was just like, what the fuck is happening?
Sounds
he
about
has,
right.
Yeah, he didn't come in with a weapon. He's completely like unarmed. He came in with like books and shit.
Yeah.
Like Nicodemus is standing next to him and is just like, I'm not giving this back.
What is...
He's
what?
going like this. And you see like Uriel like trying to grab the book from Nicodemus. That's basically what's going on.
What is he doing?
Apparently he's trying to pickpocket a book. Uriel's like, fuck, no.
Meanwhile, I'm getting stabbed by Sir Righteous. Okay. Well, you know, Lothar, you done did a goof. So you done pissed me off. So all right. Here we go. Triple attack.
You got it.
Yep. I'll
Okay.
just tell you, yep.
Let me
20.
know if it scores over 21.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Nope.
no on that
What is that?
one. That is a 1.
Then no.
Yeah.
You come in with your claws and slash them both, but as you come in with like your jaws, he like prepares his sword with the blunt edge and just like puts it in the way. Though, as soon as you are done attacking, provided he survives, go ahead and roll your damage.
That's good. 12. Oh. 12 plus 15. That is 27. Wait, 32.
32 altogether.
I can't add 32, please.
Yeah, he looks pretty bad, but he immediately, after he like deflects your third attack, he steps to the side of it and like uses your momentum to propel his blade around as he comes down on the back of your neck.
Oh, great.
And a 19 will hit you.
God damn it. Yeah. My AC's good against everyone except Dragoons. Turns out.
It's 18 points of damage. What are you at right now?
55.
55. Alrighty. Yeah, he doesn't look too good. He's looks pretty bloody, pretty fucked up. He fucked up.
Actually, I'm sorry. That's 59. I can't do math. You said 18 points of damage, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
You are at what?
59.
Okay.
You get a fucking health boost.
To be fair, the health boost never stacks with his actual level. So it is exactly that forever.
Okay.
As you guys level, he will eventually
His-
his shapes will wane in power. Yeah.
This is just to help him in the early game, basically.
Well, he also didn't achieve Fell Wolf until far later. Like he was doing it, but he wasn't. I didn't actually like put together the Fell Wolf template.
Yeah.
And then I did. And I was like, here's a Fell Wolf. You probably shouldn't actually be allowed to transform into one of them, but I am a generous DM, and you are a druid.
It's kind of like when Goku turned Super Saiyan for the first time, and it was kind of fucky.
Yeah.
And then later on, mastered Super Saiyan, mastered Fell Wolf.
Ah. All right. Well, with my turn, we're planning to scoop out. I don't know what attacks of opportunity are going to happen with it, but we're going to try.
You see,
I want a divine dicking right to the back of Lothar's head.
You see, you see light envelop him and his sword.
Oh
as
God!
he shouts, "You shall be smited for your transgressions upon the crown."
I'm
And he
unhappy with this.
lifts his blade into the air and comes down upon you. And he's going to smite both attacks.
Oof.
Well, they are both going to hit. I don't even need to ask. The 24 from the first one.
Oh no.
He'll be alright. He's got like 80 hit points. $36 for the second attack.
I'm dead.
You're dead? By how much?
1.
By 1. Okay. You are not dead. You see your friend like basically this. You see him like rear up and like claw at him, and with that attack, you see he like kind of goes underneath it and takes his whole sword, like rams it into the chest of your friend. Like he like flops him over. Dan. Roll me 2 d20s. Let me know what the first one is, and let me know what the second one is.
20.
Alrighty.
17.
So you are hit, and you actually feel like near mortally wounded, as much as you've ever been in your life. So your instinct, not your instinct, I'm sorry, the Fell Wolf's instinct kicks over. And you actually take one of your horns and ram it into his fucking chest as he like goes to pull out his sword. He pulls it in, which pulls you in, and you fucking jam your actual horn into his chest. Roll me 2d6. Add your strength bonus, or whatever your damage bonus is.
18.
Damn, that's a fucking huge bonus.
You see, you fucking like nail into his chest, and your horn comes out the other side, and you like shake him off. And it sounds like, have you ever heard like a larger dog having a bad dream where they're just like,
Yeah.
like that's what you hear coming out of Dan's wounded body right now. Dan, you are not dead. You have survived. Because in my world, when you go below 0, you start taking checks based on the amount of damage you have taken, and certain things happen. Like you could lose limbs, you could actually, for realsies, die. You could just start bleeding out and have X amount of turns until you die. So different things happen based on your constitution checks, but I didn't have to ask you for the first one because fuck 20, so you just immediately, you are alive, you are in a very bad state, and until you are healed, medically, it will require a lot of time, or magically, it will require far less time, will not recover in your current state.
Yep.
You will require aid to move, to do anything that you wish to do. You will require aid in the shape of magical healing, or in the shape of for you to do it on your own, or you will require the aid of your friends actively giving you physical strength to move.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, hitting 0 is not death. Hitting 0 is, it's a new adventure called How Bad Can I Die? Because if you get like overkilled, you can just turn into paste, and then you could never get resurrected.
Like I've done to many a dude.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Sounds so unimpressed over there.
Yeah.
Jesus. Skywalker.
You see Rax move up to he like snores louder just to spite you. He moves up to
That's my boy.
Nicodemus and to Uriel, who are like fighting over a fucking book right now. And like Rax like slams his fucking hand down where the argument's going, and like Uriel just manages to like rip the book out of his arms and like roll away in time. And like Nicodemus just like fucking from the impact, just he like gets fucking thrown back a foot. And he's like,
808 drop
shit.
there.
Yeah, and he like gets up and like just starts like trying to go for the book again. And he's like, tell me your secrets. Just chasing after him.
My dead fellow form is like.
Brant immediately, you see him like take an arrow out and like knock it and point it at the old man who is wearing the big brown robes, and he's just like, tell your lackey to stop or I will end you.
One chance.
To be fair, he expended every spell slot he had and smote the fuck out of you.
He did what I do, which is just stack the fuck out of damage in one round and hope it hits.
He rolled, his lowest roll on the die was a 19.
It's fucking
I didn't
horseshit.
even-
He hit me with every attack.
Yeah.
What a bastard.
I mean, he's only got 2, but he's got 2 good ones.
I had only given you that divine favor before I left.
The worst fucking paladin.
I'm sorry that I thought of something craftier to do, which is to go find some items that are important.
No, you're doing the right thing. It's just
You see,
You do happen to know that I am still a paladin and can probably help you from dying, but keep talking.
the lady in the brown
I'm not
scale
talking.
armor, or bronze scale armor, has charged the guy with white hair and is like swinging from the elbow and like kind of engaging in a sword fight with him. And she will also, like, basically coming at him, like swinging. She will get the better of him and on the charge, and actually like hit him in the shoulder, in between one of his armor or pieces of shoulder armor. He'll start bleeding from there. He makes no grimace or actual acknowledgement of the wound of any kind.
Word.
Yep. Alan kind of looks at Keld and just says, I'd ask you to step aside, but
Just updating Michael. I killed his.
Who
That'll-
killed his favorite dude? Oh, yeah.
Sarcastically.
Killed your boy. I mean, he was my favorite dude until just now.
Yeah, until he decided to act a fucking fool.
No one's acting a fool except everyone.
I mean, we're all acting fools, but
Kel does not look good.
I think
He looks pretty brutal as like Kel like takes various swings at him and Alan like flicks his gauntlets aside and then like makes slashes and cuts to the body through his armor.
Mercy, Rez.
Yeah.
I need to take care of this.
I need healing.
You see
I require healing.
the guy from the Fellscale clan here. He like turns his blade around and like drives it through Cord's shoulder and it like goes out the other side. And Cord is screaming in pain. Immense pain. And that is when Cord like grabs the back of his head, fucking slams it into his forehead as hard as he can. And doesn't appear like, I mean, you know, he's not hitting him with an axe. But the guy like relinquished fucking hold on the sword. And you see like Cord dropped his axe when he got impaled by the sword. You Cord like pull out the sword and like go to attack the guy. But the guy kind of like action rolls out of the way. And he also does not look too hot. And he screams out loud, "It sure would be nice if we had a plan other than to fucking die right now." And he's kind of like looking around to see who his actual friends and allies in this fight are. You guys see Orphan, or the rather for Chris because he hasn't been introduced to the guy. Guy with like the long white hair. He just kind of like takes his sword and like moves a little bit to the side of her, puts his sword behind her, and both fucking like sword across her. Like it looks like he cuts almost all the way to the bone and then out, and like flicks the blade around, and she just hits the fucking floor. She looks like she is bleeding out and will die shortly. And you see Uriel kind of look at him and like, what the fuck is happening? And you hear Orphan say, "Run, find Crassus. We will meet you out of the camp." And Uriel like looks at you specifically, and like kind of at you as well, but also you, and says, "I cannot leave." And he like goes to pick up one of the swords that's nearby, and Orphan says, "I will babysit. Run." And fucking takes off out of the tent. And Cord go, "Oh great, you're gonna babysit the dragoons." Ooh.
Old salty ass Cord with the sword sticking out of his
He pulled it
shoulder.
out of him and swung at the guy, okay? He's metal AF, my dude.
It's like, fuck, I'll just be taking on fucking 4 guys.
Yep.
Just fucking
Whatever.
Whatever.
Cool. He's been fighting the king of the fucking mountain clans. No big deal, right? You see, eventually, like, Cord taking all of the swings. Talon, like, eventually, like, catches the blade and with both hands and, like, kind of pulls him off balance and rocks him right into both fingertips, into the chest. And you see them, like, go into his breastplate in 2 locations. And then, like, kick Talon back. Talon, like, hits the floor and rolls, but immediately, like, recovers and gets up off the ground and starts walking back towards him. Blood is clearly evident. He is sufficiently wounded.
Definitely getting the Royale with cheese tonight. Boy.
After Keld does that, he will move back to Hayden, and we'll pick Hayden up and put him over his shoulders. You see Fallon like get up, and he will charge Rax. See him like come in and like crash into the big bodied creature with his shield, and then immediately like skewer through with his sword. And the creature like bellows out loud. It looks fairly unfazed in general. And Fallon looks back at Keld and as well as like the rest of the people who are fighting and says, "Leave now. I will cover your retreat."
Oh,
Dan, roll me a d20.
oh boy. Fuck. 8.
You have not died.
That's good. Congratulations.
Turkyr, you're up.
Hey, what's up?
Hello.
It looks like my furry friend is shit right now.
It looks pretty bad.
Is there anybody in my way if I were to run directly to him?
Not now. Talon was like knocked out of the way.
Oh, good. I'm gonna run directly towards my dude dying on the ground here.
Sure.
And I'm gonna dump all of my healing into him. I'm gonna lay on hands for 25 hit points.
All right. You have been magically healed. Roll me a d20.
19.
You will be able to act in your next initiative.
Okay.
That will also imply getting up.
Okay.
You will be treated right now as if...
When you're a fell wolf, can you understand people?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to use my bonus action to talk to him.
Sure.
That's a free action, my dude.
Yeah. I have the book. We need to leave now.
Can I do that thing?
What thing?
The thing where Nikki could understand me?
Nikki, not here, dog.
Well, no.
Her brother's here. Kind of like...
Just give me 1 woof for yes and 2 woof for no.
It's like
Woof.
weird.
There we go. There's communication.
Yep. All right.
Oh, it's me.
Yeah, it is. You
should start round.
I'll motion to get on my back.
You motion him to get up and on your back, and he does so. So probably somewhat reluctantly. And then you spend the rest of the initiative getting up. Welcome to Knocked Prone Land.
Okie dokie. Now you're on my back.
Cool. Hopefully no one's coming at you. Well, if anyone attacks you, I would probably be able to somewhat assist.
Yeah.
You know, you got protection with me now.
Mm-hmm.
So they fight with a disadvantage. So now they'll roll 2 19s.
Dan, does a 29 hit your AC? Well, yes, Jared, it does. It's like that fucking meme when it's like, when the DM keeps asking, does 27 hit your AC? You know it does, motherfucker.
Talon moves in to engage Keld once more.
I was about to say, make my fucking day, fam.
And
I'm like, 25 is not that much hit points.
you
not.
see Keld like catch him coming in and actually like rolls and throws him over him. And
Judo.
even though Talon recovers,
Judo throw.
fairly quickly and does not appear to take any damage from it. He is much farther away and is kind of out of combat from him. You see the other person belonging to House Fellscale looks over at Keld and is just like, but where?
Where? Where?
Yeah, Keld, he's just like, you would betray your people, your clan, and the throne. For what? Keld is like, for truth. For that which I should have sought before I was cursed.
Hello.
Hi, Amanda. Thanks for
Yo.
stopping by.
Howdy. And yeah, so you guys see like Brant is like staring off with like this old man. He's just like, tell him to stop, dude. He's just like, nah. Nah. You guys see Brant like at point blank range let an arrow go through this guy's face, and you guys see like the old man just plop and like hit the floor.
Which old man?
The dude who had-
Sorfus,
the
the
dude
dude
had
who
the big guy.
unleashed
Yeah.
the large dude.
The racks.
Yep. Man, you guys, so much detail tonight.
I'm sorry. I just
There's so many
there's-
things to remember.
There's
dude.
like 5
impressed.
old dudes in this combat.
Well, there isn't. There's what, 2?
Hayden. It's Sisyphus.
Hayden,
syphilis.
Yeah.
That
Sure.
guy.
Sorfus,
Sorfus.
Sorfus, and Hayden.
There's another one.
Is there?
There's Big Daddy Fellscale, isn't there?
He's like 37.
Okay, well you described him as
So
fucking
old. With his blonde, long dreadlocks and flowing golden beard. So old.
You literally described him as old when you
No.
did his initial description. Yes, Jared, you did.
Did-
You
did
went,
not-
this guy is an older man, late 30s, early
I
40s.
said older and old are not the same thing.
Oh,
You really
okay.
want to go?
All
All right. Whatever.
Just saying.
Whatever you say. X-Men Origins Wolverine was a good movie.
You
Whatever you say.
Fucker. Jared, I'm in a sensitive emotional space. I almost died.
Sure.
Okay.
Anyways.
Between the
Uh,
Beard and Me is not a good bit.
Excuse me, I'm in a world of fantasy where shitty bands like BT Bam don't exist.
Okay.
Please.
Sad faces. Oh yeah, so Brant just fucking drops the wizard dude. Just like one fucking hit. Just bloop.
I'm glad he decided to do
And
something.
He plops and hits the ground.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, Talon recovers. And just kind of like squint, like goes like that at like the whole Brant and Sorfus situation. And then comes back around. Orphan is just like, we need to fucking go. And he kind of like moves towards Fallon and the big creature that Sorfus brought along with him that he referred to as Rax. And he basically is just like picking up all of like the papers that Uriel dropped on his way out of the tent. He doesn't appear to be like engaged in combat or anything. With that, you see like Fallon basically trying to like hold his own against this beast, and that creature basically like swings and like knocks and breaks his arm with the shield that he was holding, and then just like immediately cuts him down with his other next swing. So you guys see Fallon Black, great grandson of Hayden Black, go down. Keld, having deflected the blow, kind of sees what has happened, looks at Brant, and just says, "We need to leave." Brant's like, "Yes, we do." And you guys see Brant actually like cut away out of the tent from where he's at and like slip out. And Keld like runs over to where he is and like does the same thing with his claws. And like Cord is like quick on the heels of Brant. He's talk all of this. And you guys will be around for one round, essentially. And you will take off. So as you guys are like fucking beaten huff, you will see the dude in like the long robes like just get back up and like pull the arrow out from underneath his hood and just drop it. It looks like it's dipped in some kind of like sticky ichor. Yeah, you'll see like Talon like flick the blood off his blade and like start walking towards you guys as you rush off. But everybody else seems to have like run off. And of course, like the king of the mountain clans, Lord Fellscale, he's like trying to like tend to his own wounds. He's got problems. He got pretty fucked up himself. So got hit by a dragoon a few times. Too critical.
Well,
You guys have successfully made it outside of the tent.
oh my god. Thank Christ.
The sounds and smells of war greet you. As of course you smell multiple fires, smoke. You hear several orders being shouted, arrows being unleashed, the sounds of many a bow and synchronicity being released. Definitely steel on wood as blades clash against shield walls. It looks like a fairly large battle has occurred. It's been brought to your doorstep.
Can I get some like wolf or dog emotes in the chat, please?
Can I get some donkeys in the chat, please?
Can I get some booyahs in the chat, please?
Can I get some dog blesses in the chat, please?
All three of those, please. Miss Toki too.
Every one of them. And if they're not there, I will send it back.
Can I get some Edward 40 hands in the chat, please?
Yes.
Got the dogs in the chat.
I got all my dogs.
Oh, jeez.
They
Hell
combine fusion
Hell
dance
yeah.
style into my wolf form.
All right, my dudes.
All right, so we're in the middle of fucking battle zone.
You see like Brant running off like almost towards the battle lines. You see Keld taking off one direction. You see Orphan like kind of like walks out behind you guys and he's like, and he just kind of like walks up to you guys and he like touches the side of you and it's like you have the same feeling of walking into the hedge all over again. Yeah, and your like time and reality bends around you for like a split of a second, which feels like forever in the moment. And then all of a sudden you're in a tent. I thought this would be faster.
Did I travel too?
Oh yeah, you were on his back. You were like, yeah. So the moment in like Guardians 2 where they're like jumping through like all the different like universes or whatever.
Yeah. And
On
they're
the
all
way.
like fucking warping and shit.
Yeah, that's what you guys just did.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So
Instant transmission.
roll some Constitution checks, my dudes.
Oops. 11.
You throw up.
We're gonna go with a solid 14.
All right. So you throw up and you throw up,
Nice.
but you're not like debilitated. And then of course he eats it for nutritional value.
I threw up on you. I'm sorry.
Nom, 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 nom.
He just starts licking it off because he's a wolf.
Or a cat, apparently. Just
My dog eats her puke. Like the best part about Raven. She'll like throw up and then
Clean it up.
Look around, make sure nobody's watching and start eating it. Yep, everybody can have throw up. I'm like,
We're not huge fans of orcs around here, but me and Chris combo killed one time.
that is
That one time.
correct.
We
Guys
didn't even get
did
to
take
its,
down one of the lead antagonists.
We didn't get to its
Nature
second
Bane.
form. Thought there was going to be a harder boss battle. and
That
it
was,
didn't
that
happen.
was
Very
back when we
misunderstood.
were babies.
To be fair, you guys like fucking did 60 damage in like 2 rounds. I was like, well, he's dead.
That's true.
Sure
You
did.
guys almost
You're
killed
like,
him the
"Oh,
first time you
he's-
met him.
He's charging up his second, and he's dead.
Yep.
He's a charging up his.
All right, boys and girls.
All right.
You are in
In a-
this
in a tent.
seemingly, I would say, almost like humble tent. It's just dirt floors, all that stuff, simple cots, and he's just like, we are on the edge of the camp. We need to pack down this tent and take it with us. I can track Uriel, but I also require my bed. And since I just saved you guys,
I feel like we owe you as much.
I
also I am Orphan Warsong.
rough.
Indeed.
I can't change back.
Are you stuck in this?
No, what happens when you change back is you actually would. We have to go through the complicated measure of figuring out a fraction of how much life you have
Oh,
left.
I got it.
Okay. And figure out what that would be to your actual hit points.
Well, I'm Turkyr, way up here. Hi,
Yep.
hello. And this
Evil.
is Wolfie McWolferson Carric.
I'm gonna switch back. I have 13 and a half hit points.
Perfect. He will shake your hand and
I'll round down to 13 because I'm a baby boy.
he will say, "It is nice to meet a lord of the Duar." And as you are like anamorph down,
Anamorph.
and he will look. I have heard of the Ith in camp.
Jeez.
It's
I'm just gonna like
nice to
hold my side.
meet you in actual person. What is your name?
Greetings. You may call me Carric.
I am Orphan. Should be off.
Indeed.
He will walk outside of the tent and wait for you guys to pack it down.
Fucking okay.
As you guys like pack it up and get it together, he has like multiple horses he's brought out, and he like hands you like a bottle with like blue liquid inside of it. He just like throws it at you. He doesn't explain anything, and then he actually walks over to you and helps lift you onto the horse.
Aw. Thought I was gonna have to sit here and summon my war pony.
I kind of wish you had.
I would have had to spend so many turns doing that.
Yeah, but he just yells, "Master Dwarf," and like motions you over and like lifts you up onto it with a boost. And you guys ride off, and he will say, "My cousin is tracking Uriel now. We will fall upon him by nightfall."
What was in the blue thing that he gave me?
I don't know.
You either drink it or you don't.
Fuck, does this fucking say drink me on it? I
I
don't
mean, it does.
It's a-
It's not a light grenade, but it is a. He threw you a glass vial with a blue liquid inside of it.
pop it and take that bad boy.
Sure.
Don't even ask him what it is. Just fucking take it.
You heal 12 hit points
Yes.
as your wounds slowly recover.
How much did you heal?
12.
Yeah, it'll be
Solid.
over like the next hour. Feel like you are regenerating slowly.
Hit me with those sweet wolf emotes.
Hell yeah.
This is furry. Oh boy.
There they are.
That's me. That's me in real life.
Dope. All right, boys and girls. So I feel like that is a sufficient place to end this session. So I'm gonna have Nikki or Makolo here because I feel like things could have been tilted the other way in certain ways.
Yeah, it's tough to play carry on the against the dragoons.
Well, not just that, but like politically, it would
Oh,
have been
politically?
interesting.
It would have
to
been much
see.
different
Yeah.
if Nikki were here, because then, you know, she kind of represents.
Well, yeah, her brother just kind of was just like looking around. Huh. Oh, that one came back from the dead.
That's wild.
And he's like, well, and he like pours himself a glass of wine. He's like, that's over. I guess I'll go to war now. Yeah, Nikki normally plays with us. She plays a sorceress?
Yes.
Or is she an actual wizard?
Sorcerer.
Sorcerer.
Yep.
That is what she be play. She would have played tonight, but unfortunately, work got in the way.
Yep. She had work, and that work sucked. So, we'll call it tonight. I'll hand out some experience. Start of the next session. As you guys
Nice.
are running away from camp.
Hopefully, we gain a level.
I would love that. How close are we?
I don't know, because you have more participation points than the rest of us. So,
Chris, you have some experience coming down the pipe.
oh boy,
More than usual as well. So I know that you don't particularly, you wanted to fight all session. You are actually getting your bonus experience from last session, in which you were like, gonna role play my character to a T.
and all it took was a couple of glasses of alcohol.
Like one.
It was one
The
very
rest
large
were
one.
superfluous.
We've got to get.
The rest were unnecessary.
We've got to get up to 14,000 EXPs.
And what are you guys sitting around roughly right now?
97.
Apparently, I have 8,500. That's what I've got now. At least that's what last I heard.
Okay. I will be handing out experience.
Kids, we earned
sesh.
it.
Oh yeah, it'll be good
I done did died.
for sure.
I done got the book.
You didn't die. Your heart never stopped.
I know, but
You were just in a lot of pain. and
you
You were incapacitated.
I've never been incapacitated in this game, so
You,
I had
you
to-
have not.
I had to like. It's kind of like in
This game was also designed to be lethal.
yeah.
So you guys hitting 0 hit points for the first time is just possibly the first time in a long-running series of you guys hitting 0 hit points. Especially if it's only the two of you moving forward.
Well,
Yeah, we got to get everybody back in here because that
You
would have
take care of this.
gone many
been a
much
little
different.
Would have been a little different. It's all right. I mean, you guys had friend Brant to help out.
Thankfully, Brent was friend Brant.
he was remembrant.
He I was not sure if he was going to be there or not. When Nikki was just like, I don't feel like playing. I was like,
Brant here.
Brant's going to be there. Yeah. All right, boys and girls. Thank you for joining us on our Friday night of Aurok and Roll.
Yeah.
I have been your DM, Jared. It's been a blast. Hi, Amanda. Thank you for coming by. It's good to see you again. Bye, Amanda.
Yeah. Thanks for dropping in.
Thanks for hanging out. I'm sure
Yep.
I'll see you and Jay on Overwatch at some time.
I hope that the next time you do see us in Overwatch, we get good.
Yeah, 'cause
We're,
Man,
good,
that
we're
was-
getting good.
That was depressing.
We're watching lots of fucking YouTube videos. On
you're
how to
watching a
get
lot
good.
of YouTube videos.
And well,
Yeah, Chris is just good. Jeez.
if I get
I
better,
don't know about that.
if I get better, it makes everybody better.
You're damn right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm
Instead
good
of that fucking guy. Oh, you're brand new. Here's how you don't suck.
Yeah, fuck him. He was a terrible Pharah. I'm a better Pharah than he was.
He was bad at pretty much everybody he played. I think he was just fucking around.
I don't know. He played Pharah that whole game, and I was just like, why? What are you doing? It's
Well,
fine.
At least,
I played with
at
a
least
Pharah
you're in
today.
fucking diamond. Jeez,
What are the levels?
what a humble brag.
Bronze.
So if you play competitive, it's bronze, silver, gold, diamond, master, grandmaster,
Yeah.
Jesus.
and that's based on how you play within your team comp and your actual like level of play on your own. Like it's it's not a very conducive system right now.
It's better than League.
Sure is. And
Yeah,
MS
it was a
Platinum.
Platinum.
Sorry.
Is
So
it? It's
she's
Plat
actually,
then Diamond,
like,
right?
She's actually like
Diamond, I
level
think,
5.
is above Platinum. Gold, Plat, Diamond. There it
Yeah,
is.
that's what I thought it was. Gold.
So yeah,
Bronze,
you're
silver,
in a
gold,
good
plat,
spot
diamond.
saying that you're in Diamond. That means you're actually pretty all right.
Yeah, I'm probably in bronze.
Yeah, for solid, sure. We're all in bronze. But who knows? I've never played a competitive game in my life and probably won't.
I mean, I would play with you guys if we could queue together.
Yeah, we could all get together in a competitive game. We won.
Yeah.
We won some games.
We got to do. I got to do my placements though.
We got to do actual team comp.
Yeah. Rip.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
brand new,
I'm
so
not.
let's play.
Yeah.
I'm
Hells
level
yeah.
16.
I mean, I'm not brand new, and I'm only like level 60 or something.
Yeah, I'm only like 40 something.
Yeah, we didn't put the hours in. Like, started playing the game, we got tilted, and we are like, fuck it, and now we're back on it. So
Yeah, and then when that new Hearthstone expansion comes out, I'm gonna be like,
Bye.
let's go.
same. I mean, I can do both. I can just do Hearthstone while I'm at work.
Well, I've got my iPad. Oh, I'm
Overwatch at
shitting.
home. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, that's
It's
been
been
your
rad.
Overwatch minute.
Yeah. Apparently, it's a part of every MetaVillains production now.
Yeah.
And
we'll definitely have to play. I know being in South Korea makes it a lot harder, but we'll make time.
yep, for sure, Z's. We should invite them to our Discord, because that way, at the very least,
I will send invites to them.
yeah, if I'm up late, I could play.
You want to play games? I'll fucking go home. Let's play.
Yeah.
Calm down, Drunky.
Got him.
Not every day you get to play with somebody in Korea.
Group,
That is true.
especially diamonds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially good players.
Yeah.
What's that like?
They
Being
could
good.
carry us.
Hell yeah.
All right. We'll see you later, Amanda. It's good to see you. Thanks for
Bye,
swinging by.
Okay, bye, friends.
everybody.
Bye, guys.